Coming off yet another record high performance for both the Dow and the S&P on Monday. Futures back in positive territory once again as we get into the second day of trading for 2022. Brand new year, brand new week as well. We saw tech and travel and also banking stocks pretty strong to start the week yesterday. The Dow up 246. When all was said and done, we had the NASDAQ up 1.2. S&P was the laggard yesterday. 0.6, though, still to the upside. We'll get a look at December ISM manufacturing data coming out this morning, PMI data coming out this morning at 10 a.m., along with the first look at the labor market this month with the JOLTS job listings numbers coming out at 10 a.m. Of course, that's ahead of both the weekly jobless claims on Thursday and then non-farm payrolls. The big number this week will be Friday morning before we get the market underway. Travel stocks continue to show some strength here in the pre-market. All the cruise lines back in positive territory right across the board, in fact, up about 1.5% to 2%. We'll have a look at Apple. Obviously, all-time highs yesterday, $3 trillion on the market cap yesterday. Tesla coming off that huge 13% move yesterday as well, back to the upside again today. All-time high watch in effect today for Tesla. It is Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go. Look at, positive numbers. Nice to see right across the board. S&P 0.36 there. The Dow 0.42, 0.25% for the NASDAQ. As we said, it was the NASDAQ that led things yesterday. TSX futures back in action again here in Toronto today. 1.5% almost to the upside. You can see crude oil higher. Bitcoin and Ethereum, nice bounce back as well after a little negativity came in to end off the day on Monday. Good morning, guys. Going to be an interesting one here, as we said, back to the upside once again this morning, right across the board. I mean, the big names continue to lead this market higher.
Yeah, absolutely. We talked about the $3 trillion mark yesterday, sort of briefly there. Tesla making that 1,200 break. Literally, like right at the end of the day, actually.
Like after 4.
It was right at 3 o'clock, pretty much exactly. And there at the bottom there, another name, maybe not a $1 trillion company.
4 o'clock.
What?
You said 3 o'clock, but you meant.
Did I say 3 o'clock?
You meant 4.
I meant 4. It's way too early, and there's actually still a bunch of coffee left in this mug that I needed to down before the open. But yeah, you're right. I meant 4 o'clock. It didn't get very far. It got to 12:10. Lots to be watching today. Again, this is like the third time it's happened this year, which is 2 days right now, where I'm talking about one name but watching another, because I was just putting an order in for Uber, by the way. I shorted Uber yesterday. I talked about it in the midday show, and it was off of this like double top here in the daily. And I'm just going right back to now breaking out. I love Uber. I love it as a reopen play. CCL was good. We'll be watching some of that. There's just so much to be going on. Good news for Ford is coming in today. We're going to have, I think we have WonderFi coming through because they had news this morning. So there's just a lot to get into. It's only day 2. Already excited for the markets. I know you won that showdown bet for Monday Night Football.
That was almost over before it started.
Well, Najee Harris, he ran for like about 800,000 yards or what?
No, I think it was like 130 or 140. I don't know. I turned it off around 11:30 or so last night. But yeah, Deontay Johnson had the first touchdown.
Oh, then it was over.
Yeah, and then it was over. And then Deontay Johnson, Nick Chubb as well was okay. But yeah, Pittsburgh, I don't know. Bye-bye Ben, I guess, now. So Ben Roethlisberger out of Pittsburgh probably now. And unfortunately, it's a great destination for my man, Aaron Rodgers. So I'm hoping that doesn't come through. But I think he's a great fit there. Or Russell Wilson. We'll see what happens. But definitely not Big Ben. But Ford yesterday, a big breakout yesterday. We talked about that. It was on our sticky note. It was a fantastic, let me show the chart here. It was a fantastic break of $21 yesterday when we opened up. We opened up the day right here, taking out this 21 and started the day higher than 21. At that point, we knew we were in for a good ride. And I just came in today and was like, you know what, man? Hold my beer, Lucas, because we just wanted to go long right away. So as soon as we came in, it already broke through this 22.15 and then bang into the upside right now. So we're long Ford already in the pre-market. So, hey, what goes around comes around. And Ford right now coming up to 22.50. I think this is probably worth taking a spot out and then holding the rest and seeing how high this one can fly. But we love Ford again today. I hope you guys are into this one. I just checked my average price is 12.18. Randy asked me what my average price was on this one, but I've been selling, so that price has actually been going up because the last time I bought it was 13 bucks, I believe, maybe 16. So there's some averaging in there, but this is a good breakout. I'm not selling any more of Ford. I like it. Let's see where it can go. I think we can see a 30 handle this year, but Ford nicely done to the upside. Some good news there. 600,000 vehicles producing, hopefully to produce by 2024, and more F-150s coming, Brendo. So Ford is going to be a winner, I hope, for a while.
Yeah, nice numbers there for doubling not only their entire EV manufacturing goals, but specifically the F-150 Lightning, doubling that as well, as reservations just through the roof for that truck. Much anticipated F-150 Lightning. Before we go any further, it is going to be a busy day. Miss V is here and ready to go. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Happy trading to you all. I wish you a wonderful, profitable day. Please make sure you like this video and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, lots to talk about, lots to discuss as we get to the open this morning, guys. Under an hour to go. A few things out on Moderna between, looks like 8 o'clock and about 8:30, just a couple of moments ago. They're still talking about the FDA granting priority review designation for one of their versions of COVID-19 vaccine. There's also some more capacity as far as doses that they're going to be able to produce, going up to 800 million doses next year, or by the end of this year, I should say. We're already in this year. It's not next year anymore. Down, though, here for Moderna, but pretty active in the pre-market.
Yeah, I mean, active once again for Moderna, down 1.2%. It was a rough day for Moderna yesterday. If you were watching the markets, you did see it test this 230 level going into yesterday. It was 250 to 230, pretty clean. Looking at, I can't say looking at too many small caps, but because the small caps definitely worked out on day one. But obviously that was a monster push, and it looks like it's trying to test back above that 230. I think if it fails to hold, this is just a 15-minute chart. If it fails to hold that double bottom 230 level at the open, you could be in for a little bit more pain. It does at some point. I guess this is going to find itself a bit of a bottom here, and the selling is going to be overdone. But yesterday, like, you had Pfizer week, the reopen plays were running, the vaccine names and healthcare in general basically stood no chance. Like, quality in healthcare was getting sold yesterday. I'm talking like value and Danaher coming back down. That was a great opportunity. UNH was down as well. Pfizer got smoked yesterday's action. So Moderna didn't really stand a chance in that environment. If they can recover, I think there's going to be a bottom at some point in this name. A good start would be this 220 area on the daily chart, and then, of course, the 230 here. But after that start yesterday, my first look at Moderna is going to be, if it fails to hold that 230, to look short again. And, oh, goodness, Tesla just broke back below 1,200. Didn't even notice.
Yeah, what is the NASDAQ? Yeah, the NASDAQ trying to hold on to a positive right now. So, yeah, ho-hum. Tesla just moved 143 points yesterday. So let's see what happens today. Yeah, Moderna's right back. These are levels that we sort of liked to buy Moderna. I'm wondering if, on some of this negative, movement down to the downside, it's hard for me to buy a stock that's below its 50-period moving average unless we have real good catalysts moving to the upside here. You're almost getting what would be my death cross, this 50 and 200, as it's the only, I know that's not the traditional death cross, but as we go, that's one of the names that I'm looking at to pick up. But we're crossing right now the 200 and the 50. That's not a good sign for me anyways when we're looking at names for Moderna here. But you do have this 220, not horrible. If you like it, you could take it against this bottom we've held here before, all the way back to early November. But again, maybe it settles in down here, 160, 180, something like that. But I don't know. This name, like Neil said, it can go back and forth. Like, it was just 320 a week ago, down to 230 today, right? And so I don't know. I'm hoping that there's no more boosters, no more nothing involved here. And then that would be obviously a big negative for our friends over there at Moderna. So for me, I'm going to stay away from these names. If you weren't in it, I mean, this was, before this all started, man, this was virtually a penny stock. I mean, you're talking about $5, $10. You could have had this thing just $20 back in April of 2020, right? And then now you ripped all the way up to $400 or $500 here, and now it's falling less than half. So let's wait to see what Moderna has in store for investors. I'd rather wait for another quarter, see what they have to say themselves about moving forward here, what they have in the pipeline. I know there's a few other things they're working on, but for me, now Moderna's a move away. And then you mentioned Pfizer as well. This is getting close. I like it at 52, 53. And that's, of course, not Moderna, but here's Pfizer, a nice little pullback down. You know, again, we always talk about these names getting well away. You see how far away we are here from the 50-period moving average? Came right back in and crossed down. We were definitely not expecting that. But now, you know, you're, again, isolating away from the 50-period moving average. You know, unless there's another huge catalyst here, it probably drifts down into this area. So 52, 53 for Pfizer and about a 180 for Moderna. But other than that, I sit here and wait for pullbacks on both those names. And then we just took out a piece of Ford right here. We can't not do this. It's a nice move, almost straight up since we got in. So Ford in at 22s, or what am I long at, 23s, out at 48s right there. So now we'll wait to see what Ford does off the open. Just a quick look on the imbalance locator before we throw it back to Brendo. There it is, Ford the big dog at the top here with 700,000 shares. These are market on open orders, so they're not going to execute now. They're going to execute right away at 9:30, between 9:30 and 9:31, whenever the floor is ready to do those. And then after that, not much else. It's nice to see JP Morgan, but we've already talked, 163. This was 158 yesterday or so, wasn't it? JP Morgan, yeah, with a nice move. Yeah, exactly. So a nice move up there yesterday for JP, so that's nice. Wow, 163, okay. The bank's rocking and rolling here, Brendo.
Just noticed pins to the downside this morning. Twitter was pretty weak yesterday. We'll talk about that in a second. Here's the headline, though. If you missed it this morning, Ford, doubling their production goals for the F-150 electric pickup specifically, but also for EVs in general. They went up to 600,000. 150,000 per year here for the F-150 Lightning specifically. Almost 200,000 reservations so far for this truck, so much anticipated. Obviously has been much discussed as well for Ford. So yeah, more positivity there. It was interesting to see how active that was on the imbalance locator. I just mentioned Pinterest down 2% here. Guggenheim out this morning, negative note on this and other. Someone's doing some aggressive dishes in the background this morning. Guggenheim, as I was mentioning, out with a negative note on Pinterest specifically, but also the social media space today. So pins down 2% here.
Yeah, you want a stock which is at the danger danger zone, to quote Kenny Loggins. Is that highway to the danger zone?
Highway to the danger.
It's Kenny Loggins, right? I think I'm right about that. Anyways, Kenny Loggins. Wow, I'm an 80s baby. It's right in at this, well, it's pretty close anyways, to this 34 level. You go all the way back to support in September of 2020. And the only reason I kind of know that is because, I still hold some of my Pinterest shares. Not really much of anything. When that deal didn't get announced, when the deal rumor got announced that they were getting bought, that never made any sense. And they flushed down. It basically took almost everything out. And now it's just holding on. You should never care about what your cost base is in situations like this. I should have just dumped it all. But I held on to a baby position anyways. And if you break the support, that 34 area, I just think this could get into real trouble and you're back in the 20s in no time at all. It's still consolidating for now. And volume is weak, I want to say. So I can't say it's going to bolt up my list to make it for stocks that I'm interested in trading here today, but definitely a level worth watching over the next couple of days here. Because I think some of these breakouts, you can break out to the upside, you can break out to the downside just as easily. And Pinterest, the trend is your friend in this particular case as well. So watch out, another downgrade, not a good looking chart for them. And when valuation starts to matter and you have that kind of momentum down and there's a lot of interesting names to buy at the beginning of the year, Pinterest, at some point, it's probably going to become somebody's value. I don't know that that's proven to be true yet. Sometimes it's better to let it break out. That's why I'm looking for a breakout in something like an Uber as opposed to just sort of always waiting with a stink bid.
And Twitter, almost identical chart. It's right back down here, right to the bottom of this, just a storied franchise that is Twitter, but obviously never able to make any money. I mean, it's crazy that they're unable to make any money during President Trump's run when everyone was talking all about Twitter. Unbelievable that they're unable to make money last year as everyone was tweeting out all their AMC positions and GME and social media was all about it. You had Chamath and you had Elon Musk, everybody tweeting out about AMC and GME, let alone crypto, things like that. And this is just a daily chart. I mean, I'm just absolutely astonished that we are now below, if not near. I think the IPO was like 41 something like that. So, I mean, you are well below IPO. Sure, it looks like we made a nice little run here, but we didn't really. If we even zoom this even back out, I can't do any further. But Twitter, we've already done the weekly charts on all this stuff. But anyways, right back into here. I don't consider any of this realistic support. So just watch out for Twitter below. I thought Aunt Kathy was in here buying this thing, which I believe she was anyways. I think she was buying it on these depressed numbers in here in early November. But obviously, we're waiting for some tweets to come back out about ARK buying some more Twitter here. So if you do like this name, nothing wrong with getting in. I just wait to see. I mean, I know, they've just recently changed over management as Square and Block with Jack Dorsey left and went over there to focus more on that company. So maybe now with new management and some new ideas, Twitter can finally get off the bottom here. But this is a name, and I didn't read that report there, Brendan, so I'm not sure who was mentioning it. You mentioned Pinterest. We are talking about social media. Another one obviously would be Snapchat, which I think is operating a little bit better. I talked to my 19-year-old, almost 20, and at least they're using Snapchat and things like that. So there is a little bit of savior maybe for Snapchat. But I mean, look at this name all the way back down here to 44, 45. So then you know what? Everybody that hates on Meta platforms and Facebook and all that, honestly, guys, like, everyone should be thankful that this is not where all those other names are. People, Snapchat, this and that, Twitter, Pinterest, there's many more names. But Facebook holding up great here in a lot of like scrutiny and things like that. Facebook holding up well. So I like Facebook in all these names. I think this is a name that works in 2022. I'd be piling into Facebook. Sell all your Twitter, sell everything else, and let's go over to a company that's working with Facebook. Brendan, what's up, my man?
All right, exciting news this morning, guys, for our friends at WonderFi. Out brand new this morning, breaking news, they're acquiring BitBuy, well-established crypto marketplace with over 4.4 billion transacted with BitBuy. So WonderFi picking up BitBuy. We're very happy to have Ben Samaru, CEO and founder of the company, along with strategic investor Kevin O'Leary, back with us once again this morning to talk about this great news, guys. Huge deal in this space as we've continued to discuss ever-growing space and exciting news this morning. Ben, I'll start with you. Tell us exactly what this means for WonderFi and what we can expect from this deal.
It's a great way to start 2022. We're super excited about this. BitBuy, for those who don't know, it's the first registered crypto marketplace in Canada, and certainly one of the biggest, if not the biggest, crypto companies in Canada. They've done over $4 billion in transaction volume to date, over $30 million of revenue in the last 12 months, and they've got an excellent management team based out of Toronto. Their team is about 80 people across their engineers and customer support and management. And they've been doing amazing things since they started the company about 4 years ago. And for WonderFi, we're super excited about this. It really complements what we're doing and feeds into our mission of creating better access to finance and to crypto. And we're really excited to announce this to kick off 2022.
Kevin has been very outspoken on this sector and this area in general over the past year. We've discussed in depth, in fact, the growth potential. Kevin, you've been a proponent of this company and of this space, as we said. What do you see as far as the opportunity here with a marketplace specifically for crypto?
A huge strategic move for the company. I'm very pleased it's happened. The way you've got to look at this as an investor is the value of crypto is around scale and customer acquisition cost. And you think about any specific person or institution, they may have need for a decentralized service at one point to have direct ownership in crypto assets, and then maybe a centralized service as an on and off ramp so they can change their Canadian or US dollars into USDC or perhaps something else that they wish to trade with. And you don't want to lose that customer anywhere along the chain. Once you've acquired them, you want to keep them in your, let's call it, ecosphere. And that's really what it looks like WonderFi is doing. It's building out its ecosphere of services, products and services. This is a huge move because I was obviously aware of BitBuy and the importance of that license they've acquired. But now you've got a huge pool of talent. So Ben and his team, along with the management, you've got some of the best engineers in the world working on these platforms now. Very exciting day for the company, but even more exciting for those of us who believed in Ben's vision and his team when he said he was going to be a consolidator and use the platform to add more goods and services. This is exactly what he was talking about. And I'm going to stay tuned because I don't want to stop here. I want to see more.
Pretty impressive numbers right across the board here. BitBuy, founded in 2016, already 375,000 users, as we said, 4.4 billion in transactions to this date. Talk a little bit about, Kevin, the growth potential here going forward as we just start off a brand new year.
You have to look at it as a binary basis. If you're interested in crypto and you believe that it has productive services and reduces fees and can enhance economic transactions, whether it be payment systems or whether you're buying Bitcoin as an asset, whatever it is that attracts you to it, once you make that decision to become an investor, how do you get diversification? And I would argue that WonderFi now is basically core infrastructure for anybody that's interested in owning exposure to crypto. And the beautiful thing about it is some institutions can't own Bitcoin or can't own Ethereum for various reasons, but they can own something like the equity of WonderFi and get exposure to all these products and services through a stock. And so I'm pretty excited about it. It's certainly a big part of my portfolio, but I really like the idea that over time, regulators, not only in Canada, but in other jurisdictions and geographies, are opening up the gates to allow this productivity enhancement to occur. That's really what's driving the crypto market, is productivity, reduction of fees, speeding up financial services, and WonderFi is all of that and more.
In this release, guys, talks a little bit about the Q3 numbers. BitBuy generating $31 million in revenue at the end of September of last year. Ben, tell investors, I guess, what does this mean for the company as far as the bottom line is concerned, and what can we expect going forward?
Yeah, definitely increases our bottom line right off the bat. It brings in very significant revenue from an established company, and it really is going to complement what we're growing organically with WonderFi, which is the product that launches later this month. So it's really excellent timing, and those two are going to complement themselves very well. There's a lot of, as Kevin mentioned, there's a lot of services that will kind of cross over between the two as we move forward to closing the transaction and integrating both of the products. So it's really really exciting step forward for us.
Starting off the year with a bang for WonderFi, Ben, what do we see next here going forward for WonderFi?
We're really just going to continue to grow the product offering. As Kevin had mentioned, that's what we focused on from day one. That's going to be growing the product organically and really just getting that in the hands of as many people as we can, really democratizing finance, creating better access to this new wave of finance that everybody is so excited about. And we're going to continue to aggressively grow the company through consolidation. And we're looking at doing that through licensed entities like BitBuy that are established and bring a lot of value through users, technology, and revenue to the table.
Primary listing here in Toronto, guys, WNDR for WonderFi on the NEO exchange. Remember, you can also see them on FTX. WNDR on FTX. OTC Pink listing is WONDF. Kevin O'Leary, strategic investor, and Ben Samaru, CEO and founder. Gentlemen, we appreciate you using our platform to tell the world this morning. Thanks so much.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you guys as well. There we go, guys. Major news for WonderFi. Again, buying BitBuy, the first approved crypto marketplace here in this country.
Booyah.
Oh, Canada.
Yeah, exactly. And, Kevin O'Leary's talked about it a couple times here, how Canada's sort of led the way in, the crypto markets. We did the same thing with cannabis. So let's see where we rock and roll from here. I mean, WonderFi, great acquisition. 375,000 customers. Wow.
Yeah.
For BitBuy. So that looks like a good little take there. And yeah, obviously invest your money wisely. Coinbase has been a good call as well. We like Hut 8. And why not add WonderFi into your portfolio? Might be a good risk reward there.
Exactly. Well, I mean, obviously, being an equity for a lot of people, it allows you to invest in something that'll be in one of your registered accounts, right?
Right.
So
that's
I think that's a bit of an advantage as well that I think a lot of people might want to play into. Whoa, it's already 8:55.
Yeah, it's getting on here.
There's a name that I want to get to very, very quickly here because there was some chatter in the chat. Oh goodness, Neil.
Some chatter in the chat.
I know. What am I even doing? ISPC, and I was actually talking about this one. It's another low floater, but it actually just just bounced up $8 to $10, but right at the 50 period, it turned on a dime. Previous support at 10.25, and I've sort of been looking for places on some of these to take long. I had a 10 break and then got out when I looked at the daily chart and was like, why am I going long at $10 when I see 10.25 as a level? So I got in and out very, very quickly. That's what happens when you don't zoom out. I did zoom out and got out of it. Now I'm looking for that top to break. I'm looking at 10.25. That's where I would get into long in this thing. Again, it is a low floater. I think I saw 12 million share float. So that's obviously pretty tiny, meaning it can certainly halt. I would anticipate if it does halt and I do get that long and it halts on the upside in the money, I'd probably cover some in front and then look to do the halt trade, which is just getting in the halt and then trying to get out on the reopen. So another low float runner here today. I don't think this one made the watch list, so just wanted to shout it out.
People are asking. It's here. I'll call it for you. WONDF on pink sheets. If you don't have access, again, it's going to look silly here because it's just not trading right now in the pre-market. But it's has its levels. Come on, that's Facebook. I was just looking at this though. It has its levels here on WonderFi. It's actually just been bouncing around low. There it is, low of 160. So trading pretty good, man. Decent liquidity, 100, 200,000 shares a day, if not a little bit more than that. It's topped out at 260 there right now. We'll see where it opens today. I'm going to have it up. I mean, why not? This is a pink sheet name that we know pink sheets OTC market can get going when there's volume. So, WONDF. You can see it right here. So people asking, it's on the pink sheets, or it's simply WNDR over here on Toronto. But make sure that, again, the extension might be different for you. It's not a TSX listed stock, as Brendan mentioned. It's listed on the NEO exchange. So your broker should still have access to it. And again, the chart's going to look absolutely the same. We had them on down here at $1, Brendan, or $1.50, I guess, when they IPO'd. So that day was a big day for us. It did dip down a little bit and then took out that 150 and hasn't come back. So right now we'll see what happens to WonderFi today. I'm excited for it. It's a little different than SoFi. Obviously, WonderFi just simply in all that crypto. So people confusing the two symbols there I saw in the chat. But WonderFi continues to impress with its stock movement. Let's see where it goes from here. Again, BitBuy. Wow, I just didn't realize they had nearly 400,000 customers. That's not bad at all. So let's see where it goes. I'm actually pretty excited about this name, but like I said, I've been buying Hut 8 and the actual coins themselves. Over there, Brendan, what's up at the big board?
Yeah, a few notable names on this board this morning, upgrades and downgrades. As we mentioned, there's Guggenheim talking about Pinterest and some other social media stocks this morning as well. Foot Locker on the watch list this morning. Yeah, big move down. Not a lot of volume, but Foot Locker under pressure after JP Morgan with a downgrade on that. Marvell on here, SunPower, and First Solar. So we'll watch some of the clean energy names today to the upside, guys.
What do you guys think? What do you guys think about Don't Look Up? I mean, me and Neil were just talking, not to talk over Brendan's board there, but we like Pinterest there, and Marvell is a good name. But Neil hasn't seen it yet, and I talked about it last week. I think you weren't here, but I know Brendan saw it. He really likes it. I think there's some good performances there, man. Like Jonah Hill's great.
I love
Jennifer Lawrence is great. Whoever that CEO is of Bash is great, and it has a lot of satire in it. You'll really like it because it has to do a lot with just what's happening in the political environment.
Okay, I'll be all over.
Yeah, you know, honestly, Neil, I don't you're picky, but I think that, well, you are, right?
I am picky with movies.
You know, you're a movie buff. I mean,
I'm a movie guy.
So you like to look, and I think if you looked at it, with an open, idea and open mind, I think you'd like Don't Look Up. What do you guys think? Someone's saying that Jonah Hill was.
No spoilers, please.
Yeah, they won't. Awesome dark comedy. Don't Look Up. Yeah. It's not super dark, but yeah, it's a good one, man. No spoil. There's actually not too much to spoil, but anyways, good movie there. Thanks for the support.
I got a really crappy segue I'm going to make here.
Sure.
So obviously I like movies, and I have not seen the new Spider-Man, but I don't want you guys to get Marvel confused with Marvel. Yeah, Marvel catching an upgrade there. And look, the stock is, I don't want to say it's as good as the Marvel movies. I still haven't even seen the Eternals either. But look, it catches the upgrade. You're in the midst of a fantastic run. This has been another one of those. It's a growth name in the chip space, right? Like it's not necessarily going to be a value name. Although I think its valuation is a little bit better than your higher value names like a AMD or an NVIDIA there. But it's getting pretty close to breaking back out here at 94. So going to line this one up in the next couple of days. I think it can go Usually you want to wait for a key level on the daily chart. Otherwise, it's on 40,000 shares, right? Like usually you're trading something like an AMD or an NVIDIA because you're going to get more liquidity. But I think when this one makes its breakout, I want to be on board with Marvel. Good look for them. I noticed, SunPower, kind of interesting to see them on the upgrade list along with First Solar. Some alternative ways to play the energy space. And obviously, I like Marvel here. Likely to be trading if I day trade in NVIDIA, but Marvel 94 break, that feels like it is coming in the next week or so, and I want to be on board when it does.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but I'm just going off the rails again. So just make sure that you watch after the credits.
Oh, there's post-credits.
Like you're talking about Marvel movies there, so there's some post-credit stuff. So that's all I want to tell you.
I'm not used to that in that kind of a film. So.
Exactly. And we were just kind of watching it, and then all of a sudden something happened. So definitely watch that. Like Justin said, the chef's kiss at the end. So all right, Brendan, my bad there. Let's go back to business.
Something definitely happens with a very big name actress. So yeah, definitely watch that at the end of the movie. Let's bring in Arun, get a check of the overall market here and see what we need to be aware of. Arun, here we go again, back to the upside once again.
Here we go again, and I think we're finally above that 4,800 mark, which says a lot. This market's been resilient so far. Any dips have been bought. We've been hesitating for a little towards the end of December, starting off yesterday as well, hesitating around that 4,800, took a little dip. Nice little move back to the upside late in the session yesterday, and here we are coming into this morning above 4,800. We've gotten above 4,805. I think the high is 4,807.50. What I'm going to wait for is the open. I think if we can get some buying at the open, that's going to initiate some longs for me automatically. So right now, the way it's trading, we're 5 points from the high. The stop on this, if we get a strong open, the stop on this is going to be 47.75. That's what I'm going to look for on the downside. If we just fall off, then I'm going to back off, right? No longs. We're just going to wait for this market to either break through 47.75 to the downside first, or break through the top end of the pre-market highs or the overnight highs. And if we get to the top end, then you go for the longs. If you go through the bottom, you go for the shorts. I mean, it's pretty binary in terms of the decision making today, at least. The way it's setting up, I think it's fairly straightforward, right? You go for the long above the level up top, or you go for the short down below, and you just wait for the market to make its move off the open.
No, thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's jump right into what is moving around. There we go, Robbie, thank you. What is moving around in the pre-market? If you are in need of an absolutely free resource, guys, we do your homework for you every single day and send it out to you for free. It's crazy, I know. That's the link to the watch list, I should say, guys. Miss V will help you out in the chat if you do require that one more time. Let's talk about some of these travel stocks because they continue to show strength after a decent day yesterday. It's worth mentioning, even as we continue to see cancellations across the board as far as airlines are concerned, the cruise lines as well, showing strength once again this morning. The WHO this morning saying, or confirming more data, essentially saying that Omicron appears to be less severe, but cases, hospitalizations now starting to tick higher once again globally.
Yeah, look, I think it was, 1 million cases or something for the U.S. yesterday, something crazy. I saw some sort of a headline, but don't quote me on that. That may not be accurate. But on CCL here, I'm playing the breakout through 22. You'll see me get into this pretty soon. Again, this is another name that's right away on the watch list here for us today, it's on the watch list, but also here on the sticky note today. And we talked about it right here. Looks like a good break off 22. If we can clear that level, look for 21 support. So here it is right here. The sticky note today only has 4 names on it. Come check it out if you wish. I'll put the tweet up there. Please retweet it, and if not, use the hashtag sticky note. We're trying to get that thing going. And again, the more people, if you retweet the sticky note, the more people that see it, the more possibly actionable trading may happen on that. So there it is. We'll put it in the chat again. But here's CCL. Look, a big strong day yesterday. If you believed in this name, which I wasn't sure. I talked about this yesterday. Weren't sure what the CDC or just the U.S. government may come in, put some restrictions, and I still think that could happen. But you know what? Why are we scared of that? We can react to the trade if and when that happens. So let's stop ignoring negative downside here for CCL. I just want to look at the positives. I think it can break through 22. Reason why, look at this level right here. We've already taken this out right now, 21.70. We go back. This reminds me a little bit of Ford without the tailwinds, I feel like, on CCL. A lot of positive news coming out on Ford. CCL, you kind of got to pick and choose. For every one negative article, there seems to be a positive one. So let's wait to see if CCL can break out. Now, I like this through 22 bucks. Looks like it's going to happen right now. I'm going to go long small. Let me make sure that's what it is. Yeah, because yesterday I took it out. I took something out. Oh, it was AMC, and we took too many shares at the top. But right now, we don't like to play breakouts, especially 25 minutes to go. Breakouts haven't been a great trade. But the same thing we did on Ford. When we saw Ford breaking out here through 21, 22 yesterday, we were long yesterday. It was my best trade. Well, my best trade was NEO, but this was a great one yesterday on the 21 break. And then now today, you're seeing the same thing here. We're long at 22.20, out a little bit at 50. Now Ford's starting to run. I see the same kind of fate here for CCL. I mean, the chart doesn't look similar because we've already been up here, but I think we can break out. We're above the 50-period moving average here, and I want to speak positively about moving forward in the travel sector, so I like CCL on that 22 break. Buy it back. I said there's support here. 50 period is at 21, so we like that support. And another name that I'm just going to keep talking about until people start to buy it up again maybe is Disney at this bottom. We've been buyers in the 140s. Now we're up to 158. I'm not selling this name. We've now just crossed this. This was the play of 2022 given to you last week, so we're up a little bit on that already. So I think we did our plays. Let's call it 154. I mean, we're not writing them down, but Disney's going to work. I like Disney going to the upside. I think we at least get back to this 170 before earnings for Disney, and then we'll see what happens there. So I like Disney making moves to the upside here. This is a buy for me, as well as CCL breaking through 22.
For the long term, I prefer, as a Disney shareholder, I'm kind of with you on. As a reopen play, I prefer Disney, and I prefer Uber as a reopen play over, in some ways, in some respects, over CCL in the long term. But you can't ignore it. It was a good trading stock yesterday at CCL, both in the 21 break, which I think as well as now support. And then the short ended up being that 2180. We've cleared. What I love about this is that same 2180 short. We've cleared through that and then held it as support. If that had not held as support, if we had broken back down and tested lower, I'd only be bidding in front of 21, which I am. But I am also going long on a breakout. And I know breakouts have been tricky lately, but I got one on for CCL, and I'm looking at Uber. I think if they both come in, I'll have to have a quick trigger on one of them in case it pulls back, because breakouts, again, like Sean said, haven't been the best, and doubling down on two similar ones on a similar setup, it might not be the best play if you end up getting stubborn in both. So I got the order for both Uber through its 44.35 top, and then same thing here with CCL. But I am already on the bid trying to buy the dip as well. And this PSTV, another low float runner, double top at the pre-market high, 208. So it double topped earlier at 175 and broke out 30 cents. Double top here at 208. If it breaks, it could do the same thing.
Just quickly here, Brendan, we have a super chat from Desmond. Thank you, Desmond. Let's look at some Apple levels. I mean, Apple's just been an absolute monster. We've talked about this over and over again. I wouldn't buy it up here. It's an expensive stock. I wouldn't just say, you know what, I'm going to buy a name right now. It's going to be Apple. Apple's already made its move, Desmond. So I would definitely, if I'm long this name, there's no way in whatever that I would sell this name, but I don't think I would add to it right now. Apple gives you opportunities to enjoy pullbacks here. It's in 16 months, I think it was, or 18 months, we went from 2 trillion to 3 trillion. So, I mean, right there, that's a huge bump up in the stock, and it does give you pullbacks. If you look at Apple here, reaching highs here, pulls back. Here's the high that was made in January of 143. We pull all the way back, guys, down to 116 right there. So 143 high, pulls back to 116, 137 right there, trying to get to the high, pull back to 120 again. Some dancing around the highs. Then we break a new high up to 156. Pulls back to 140 there. That was a great buying opportunity. And I mean, it's hard for me to say Apple's a buy right now when in a month and a half, we've gone up from 150 to 185 or 183 here today. So you're up like 25% in a month and a half, even more than that. If you take the bottom 140 up to 180, that's $40 on 140, guys. That's 25% in 2 months for Apple, 25%. So it's going to be hard, Desmond, to recommend it up here. But at the same time, any dip that happens, man, like you get a dip by, and again, look at the extension away from the 50 period. We talk about that. I talk about that all the time on the show, and it's extended up here. I don't love Apple as a entry at these levels, but if you're going to day trade this thing, look at the support back down here at 181. It's absolutely fantastic. We dipped down there and said no thank you, ripped up yesterday, dipped back down, then takes out the 3 trillion, then comes back down here at the same levels again of 181. So thank you for the super chat, much appreciated. Hit the sticky note, like, retweet, all that kind of jazz. But right now, Apple is a buy, but you got to get it down here to 180. And then for a long-term position, no. Starter position, fine, buy Apple, but there's no way right now I think this is worth it's a little bit exaggerated here because we had the run to 3 trillion. I wouldn't buy it up here. It's a pretty expensive stock if you look historically at Apple. So.
Yeah, pretty impressive move to say the least. It was on the list today as well. 35% in 2021 for Apple. Let's talk the other one that was huge yesterday, and that is Tesla. Yeah, 13% on the day yesterday. We get all the way up here to almost 1210. It was up there again in the pre-market. We've come off, as Neil was saying, back through 1200 here. For Tesla, guys, what do we do with this today?
Oh, get rid of this 3,000 wick. It's annoying. But look, we talked about this obviously at length in the end of the show yesterday, and obviously that 1,200 break wasn't all you would have expected, despite the ridiculous size. It was a huge size offer at 1,200, and it got chewed up right at the close. Not going to go too much because of the time of day, and it's still consolidating up here. And I know it broke down below 1,200, but the first time it touched that 1,200 level yesterday, it pulled back and gave you a trade into 87, 88. It was a quick little short. It gave you $7 to $10. I think that's where the support kind of comes in for this range, not necessarily 1,200. So I am looking a little bit further back to 87, and as long as it's above that, I think it can still maintain a potential break. The 1210 level looks pretty interesting here. That's essentially the pre-market high and the post-market high from yesterday. So it is a bit of a double top there at 1210, and if we've held at 87, I think systems could be a go here on Tesla. I mean, as far as look, you start trying to talk about any levels to the upside, and it gets a little bit hairy outside of just looking at sort of the obvious even dollars, like 1250 type of thing there. And if we do break below that 1175 or 1187 area, I have to think it's 1150, where it just, after it boomed in the morning, it was a huge move. The sharpest pullback consolidated pretty deeply at 1150. So I think that's where the support's going to be today on Tesla. Worth watching that one. I had a lot of small caps on watch at the open here today that could potentially all break, whether it's FLGC, whether it's PSTV, whether it's IMMX. There was a ton. There's a ton of them. ISPC. So there's 3 or 4 that I'm looking at, which might pull me away from some of the bigger caps, with the exception of CCL. If Prad spills things or breaks things over there?
That's all good. Hopefully he's fixing his own computer there with everything. We'll have a good run. So look, Tesla, great short yesterday off 1,200. That was fantastic. We'll see if a place similar to that can come through on Tesla. I'm not even going to talk about Tesla. I mean, you just hit over some levels there. And I think it's going to be a great trade continued into the new year. People keep buying that name, and why not? It will dump down again. I mean, it ebbs and flows, right? And right now people want to buy Tesla. Yesterday, this is what we waited for, and for the charts that we loaded up our trades here yesterday. We're going to try to do literally the exact same thing here, except for not get out as much. We just had too many shares down here. We double loaded up down there. I don't know. We meant to do it, but the share size, I think, we were just overweighted there. It doesn't matter. We got out and it was a great trade. So back down to 32. That's the kind of support that I want to look at again here for NEO. Obviously, we're up to 33, but yesterday we opened at the exact same levels. Look at yesterday where we were trading, guys. 33.50. This is yesterday literally at this time yesterday, 9/5/13. We were at 33.29. So yesterday at this time, we were at the exact same levels, and then look what happened off open. This is meanwhile Tesla was still doing its Tesla thing. Look at NEO, just a complete collapse down here to $32, right? The NASDAQ actually looks weaker today. I believe we were at 0.6 yesterday when we came in, maybe even 0.4. Either way, it wasn't 0.2. So NASDAQ looking a little bit weaker here. They've already had a monster run in it. But does that mean that this is going to happen again? I don't know, but I'm going to bank that something like that maybe happens. And look at that last. So again, we got it in at 32, got some out there at 33.30. That's the best trade for me yesterday, was loading up down there. I just wish all these exits were right here. So we'll see if we can diamond hand that thing a little bit more. I hate that terminology, but I like this graphic. Thank you to Rob for that one. So we'll see if it can come back in, just to give you guys a little bit more. There's the 20-minute chart. I got to layer these just to give you guys a little more confidence. This is the levels that we're playing off of. Here's that epic dip down, which we were able to get long right here, take it up to the upside. We have some support down here between 32 and 32.50. So I'm looking at NEO in this area. And then, you know, if we drop below 32 today, I mean, I'm not going to hold it too much lower than this 31.85. So let's start to build up our trade in this area. Put some bids now at like 32.50, and then we'll try to do the same thing here at 32. And this time, if it breaks our neck at 31.80, then it does, and we get out. And then we'll see about a reload if it hits 31.50 and it decides to bounce. So I like NEO. And then XPeng was another monster trade yesterday, but you just had to have patience for it. Again, that's a New York name. XPeng was, yeah, okay. So I think it went down to 48 or so yesterday. Come on, charts. Hopefully this will load up in a second here, but so here's the trade yesterday for XPeng. Very similar, right? We just started it too early. It dropped down. We defended 50, defend, all the way down here to 48 before taking that to the long side and eventually getting out at the day's high of 50.50, which was actually a mistake. We put the order there. We didn't want to get out, but it turned out to be the right play. Let's see if this can dip down again to 48 and change. So my eyes are on EV Space Chinese lower right now as Ford just continues, man, to cook up profits here on this name. 22.60, are you kidding me? This Ford long right now is definitely a monster here. Can't go wrong looking at this name. I think this is where most of my time will be here today.
Just reading, there was a few more things coming out on Ford. In fact, guys, the production for the F-150, the Lightning, the main story here, doubling to 150,000 units. They're already at 200,000 reservations for the truck. And this number stood out to me as well, 39,974. That is the starting MSRP for said Ford Lightning or Ford Lightning F-150, which is crazy when you consider some of the other prices for equivalent electric vehicles in this space. It's amazing. So yeah, big move for Ford today, big move for Apple, big move for Tesla. Let's talk about NVIDIA, because Too Simple, recent addition to the market, self-driving truck company Too Simple Holdings, which is TU, I believe. I'll double check, but also tradable, saying they're going to use NVIDIA chips going forward in their trucks, so or in their hardware and software to power trucks going forward. So Too Simple and NVIDIA teaming up, guys.
I think it's, I'm pretty sure it might be TSP Too Simple there. And actually, that actually reminds me of something, because as we're talking about Ford and partnerships, worth mentioning that Global Foundries has that deal with Ford. So anything for Ford's benefit should help GFS, which we like. NVIDIA kind of comes close to that 306. Ooh, daily chart, not split adjusted. It comes really close to that 306 we were looking at yesterday. Really, really close. You're sort of consolidating right at the top. It was a failed breakout through that level. I think today could be the day that you might sustain that move. So I'm just looking right there. I'm looking right at that 306 on NVIDIA, not really too much of anything else. I like other names in the chip space. I like Marvel. I like value names as well, but for the day trade, I'm looking at 306 on NVIDIA here today. Maybe Marvel, 204 could possibly come into play there. 94 could come into play, but I think NVIDIA is much more likely at that 306. A lot of people, we're sort of dumping on NVIDIA near the end of that year. It actually made a good base of support here, right around 94, just right at the end of the day. It was a double, at the end of the year, it was a bit of a double bottom, and now you're trying to break out of the same range. So get back to the top, gives you $7 or $8 off that 06. You got support at 300. I like the risk to reward there. So NVIDIA on my watch today, 306 is the level, and did CCL go?
Yep, I'm long CCL right here, so I'm long 01s right now on CCL. So here we go. We'll see how far it can go up from now. It's just, it breaks, but this NYB is going to get executed at open. So not too worried about that size. Let's see where CCL can go. We do have bids down lower, so this will be obviously not, the full position. If it runs from here and we're unable to get more shares, then so be it. But I still think CCL does give us some pullback opportunities today, maybe even at 21.70. We've just missed it. It didn't come back in, so we will take a little bit off the top here on CCL. I don't like breakouts, man. The market just moves too crazy off the open, so don't like this trade. But I mean, I like the trade. It's fine. It's what we want. I'm already in the money here, but we'll wait for CCL to get going here. We take the 22 break just to add it to the forward trade. So far so good here today. Yesterday we only had one losing trade, and we're going to see if that comes through today again. So luck has been on our side. Let's see if it can stay there with CCL trying to bump up now, long through 22.01, looking to buy it back all the way down, man. I mean, if I'm going to lose on this one, it's going to be down here somewhere near 21. So let's wait to see what happens here. But CCL right now breaking out. So this is hopefully going to be a good one for me going forward, and put another bid right now down here near 70s in case we dump off a little bit off the open.
A lot of little ones, interesting looking little ones here, or small caps, I should say. IMMX, huge move yesterday, if you remember, halted a couple of times on the way up, moving around like 15 million shares already on IMMX. Just remember, 4 million share float on IMMX, so a little bit of a low float move. It is coming back in right now. Flora Growth, another one. FLGC, decent volume here in the pre-market. It's kind of gone to sleep though. 230 seems to be support for FLGC, up on news with Walmart. Wanted to mention Foot Locker here as well. Down 4.25%. Foot Locker obviously not a small cap, but 4.25%. JP Morgan with a downgrade on FL today.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of what Foot Locker's going. If you like Nike and they like their online, I think that's some Foot Locker chagrin ultimately there. And below that break of 43, I think it's a short from 43 to 43.50. But there is zero pre-market volume at 50,000 shares, so it has to open up first. Like Sean, I mean, the breakouts, they haven't been the best. So down the line, you mentioned a couple of small caps there. ISPC, and one of the things you got to be so fast with, ISPC immediately gave you that 10 to 10 quarter break and actually went up and touched like 1050. It's sort of slamming back right now, but it's holding a little bit of support here right at that 980 level. So if it can hold this at the open, I think it's going to be an add if it gets back through that 1025. If it can't, I'm going to run to the exit pretty quickly. Breakout style trades, I'd rather get in and out for a scalp and then take even a scalp hit. And then that way you're not digging in and averaging in forever. It's the same thing with PSTV. Like, I'm not going to risk more than 10 cents between 920 and 930 on a breakout. I don't love it there on PSTV. And ISPC is going to be the same thing. If I get out here on a 970 or 975 break, I can always jump back into the trade. I think it has dollar moves in it, so I'm not going to hesitate to risk 25 to 30 cents. That FLGC you mentioned, Brendan, that one is setting up for a short. That's the one I'm looking for a short off of the open.
Super weak on the, there we go, daily chart over here. You can see a huge gap down, and then we're kind of chopping around at $2. So 230 is a huge level if you go to that daily chart, and then 250 above that. It's also holding 220 here. It came down, tested 220 a couple of times. So there's an area 220 to 230, and then watch out 250 at the top. But if this does want to get back down through $2, we were down around 180, 175 yesterday for Flora Growth. Again, it's Walmart news, so some of their products going to be available on walmart.com, guys.
That's good.
Yeah, so Palantir today, people asking about that one. We did have a nice little move up, obviously, here yesterday on Palantir. We bought the bottom. It was a fantastic trade through $18 again, and we didn't have the very bottom, but we had a decent one, and then it just ripped up, right? So we'll see. I don't know. Again, some of these names are a little high up for me today based on really on nothing. So we'll wait to see, but it is nice to see Palantir trying to come off some of these bottoms. It's been a rough 3-4 months for a lot of these names here as the high valuation names continue to get hit. I believe in this name. We've talked about that over and over again. We keep bouncing. This is just a 20-minute chart. You're seeing it fill out. It's just like, talk about, I mean, where's my roller coaster? Here it is right here. Talk about a roller coaster ride of emotions and of like, it's breaking out. No, it's not. It's hitting the bottom. No, it's breaking out again. No, it's not. So, I mean, it's just up and down here. I'm not super excited right now about these levels of Palantir. It's hard to be excited when you're in this area. So, again, I think the playbook remains the same for a name like this. If by chance it dips down again, then we buy this thing. And I think you can start to sort of And again, this is overanalyzing it, but maybe instead of, like, obviously if you're going to put on a big position, I think you got to sort of wait until you do get closer to 18, but maybe the dip down today only goes into the 30s or so. So let's see if Palantir can do that. I don't even have a bid out. I'm going to put one out right now that we do notice that. Ford bouncing its head off some of these highs. Whoa, yeah, I guess 20-minute chart looks incredible for Ford. We've been talking about that name over and over again. And then right in here, you're seeing it's bouncing off these recent highs right now of 2260. So let's see how the market does open. Actually, we still have a lot of time left. There's still 6 minutes. So quick look here on the locator. We really went through things fast there, it seems like. Wow, okay. So this is part of the issue right now. So it's being falsified up because there's a 2.3 million bid, right? So you got to watch out. It's already done 7 million. It probably does, honestly, pulls back in a little bit here off the open. So watch out for Ford pulling back in. It's going upside because people are seeing this, right? So it's really 2.8 million or so. The 400 added to that. So we still have a lot of shares to do. That's going to come off the open. Generally, it'll create a spike and then a little bit of sell-off because the catalyst here is gone. But we already know, we're smart enough to know that the catalyst is not gone at all on Ford and actually just arriving today. So let's wait to see. Great talks for Ford today. People like this name. I've seen a lot of articles. I've just retweeted a few things. Everybody here that's watching the show, thank you again for all the sticky note love. But, we have it on right here. We had this trade yesterday, was our big trade. Yesterday above 21. It's been breaking out on Ford. So here's the sticky note, guys. Retweet it, like it, paste it, whatever you want to do. Put it up on your Instagram, whatever. Let's get this going. The more people that look at this, the better it is for all of us. There goes the sticky note. Also, watchlist.tradertv.live. And here's CCL trying to break above 22. So we're long this name too. We're taking 2 breakouts here early, but we do have bids back in on both these names. So let's see. I hear Neil hitting a lot of keys. Already executed a lot over there. I hope it's been good.
Well, there's another one here. I mentioned FLGC. I was looking for a short, but GNPX, I've been in GNPX already this morning. First at 350 when it broke very early, and then a consolidation at 330. That one stopped me out when all these stupid dark pool wicks were going off and triggering stops. I'm looking for that as a pop and roll trade at 330 as well. So GNPX is definitely in play. FLGC, that also looks relatively weak. So there's a couple of names I'm looking to get into right at the open. I actually just placed an order to try to get a starter in that GNPX. It's down 8%. And if you remember it there's actually 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm like, why am I getting so... Okay, if you actually remember this one from the afternoon, I was short at these levels in front of 3, had some success the second time through shorting at $3, then got accidentally long on a 310 break. That weird price, that holds up as support. That 3 to 310 is current level of support. But if you look at the barcoding that's going on in this consolidation, it's just a well that I want to go back to right here at the open. And like I said, with those breakouts, I'd rather have a tight stop and try to find a re-entry like on PSTV and on ISPC rather than sit there and hold on to them for too long. But there are some shorts that I did like, even though we didn't get to them till late. GMPX and FLGC for now fit the bill on those lists. Tesla still barcoding 95 to 1200. So it's still within the pocket, has a chance that it might still get going, but obviously it had a fantastic run in it yesterday. I wouldn't be terribly shocked if it had at least a little bit of a pullback here today. That hasn't happened just yet. And there was one other one that I don't know if we mentioned. Did we mention IMMX? I don't know if Brendan might have brought this one to your attention. Big monster multi-halt runner yesterday. If you're looking at the $8 breakout, it failed twice at 850. My trades aren't showing up, but we're short this one in the afternoon, and it fell like an absolute rock, double top up at that 850 level. So if you're looking at an 8 break, do not ignore what happened at that 850 yesterday. I'd be much more interested if it tested that high from yesterday. 8 is actually a place where if it fails there, it could be a short at that level. I see why you'd want the 8 break, but I'm going to stay away from that one.
I wonder what the best halt candidate is, because I definitely want to get into some of that right now. Yeah, everyone liking GFS. Yeah, I mean, look, we've talked about that with their connections with Ford and everything like that, and obviously a relatively new name to the market, not new to the industry, but Global Foundries continues to make a nice move upside here. But look, I mean, there's no volume. There's 9,000 shares. Like, not much to do on this one, but we'll wait to see where it goes upside. Now it is breaking out. Where's my daily chart right here? So, I mean, breaking out, maybe that's the wrong term. it's already sort of been climbing here about 10% in a week and a half or so to the upside, looking right now to take this out. Obviously, the breakout happens above 70, and once that happens, you're all clear, and I think that that's going to happen today or soon anyways. So we'll see about Global Foundries right now coming through. That should be a good one for sure. And other than that, man, PayPal right now, it's near 200 again. It's up to 196. This has been a nice mover over the last couple of days. As I call it, PayPal and GFS still opens up. You can see it's starting to barcode down a little bit here. You're talking about a breakout right now through 198. That needs to happen. So right now, PayPal on watch for me as well. Lots of stocks happening right now. There goes Ford. There goes CCL. So, I mean, all is well now. We'll wait for NEO. Put a nice little bid downside here in case this comes back in again. We've already talked about the damage that we did on NEO yesterday on a pullback in here. So we'll see if that happens again back to 32. So getting the orders all ready to go. And now, NEO, we don't have that much time as it is 29 and 20 seconds. So 9:29:20. If that's the same time you have, then you are on board with us. 25 seconds right now. Who's on the bell? I see her in the back there. Oh, it looks like she's wearing green, so that's always a good sign.
Always a good sign. The market for now is certainly holding up. I just had to double check it. We had free shorts on GMPX when I was shorting it, and now all of a sudden I had to pay for it. So I was locking that loaded because if I want to short it, you have to have those locates. Usually we do it, day trade the world. Miss V, get ready to drop it. I saw AMD, Tesla actually moving to the downside as well. I got to watch out for NVIDIA 300. I got some bids in front of that as well as that 306, but the countdown is on. The green is on, Miss V. 3, 2, and 1. Second day.
Yes, sir. All right, so we are now opened up, and let's see what's happening right here. Okay, NEO not open yet. We're just going to sit on some of these plays. There's a nice little win for us right away on CCL. Let's go on that one. Taking out new tops here on CCL. We're long at 22.01 right here in the pre-market. It doesn't look like it wants to fall back down. Already taken some out, and here it goes to the upside. Nice move upside right now for CCL, guys.
Yeah, nice move on CCL. Did not get more of this GNPX, obviously, as I put offers in. It's now starting to fall down towards $3. $3 is going to be a level that we wanted to ring the register and take some profit. Boom. Immediately looking at Tesla trying to bounce here. And then the other name, that FLGC, which is another one I like to the short side. You're going to see it basically barcode, which I think is a good thing for the entry. I'd like to see it roll over. If it doesn't break in the next minute or two, I'm looking to short it right here.
All right, so there's Ford again. Yeah, let's go, man. What is happening? This is a great opportunity here to trade one more time today as there we go. We hit Ford. Nicely done on that one. Look at that reload, guys. You want to talk about, okay, I'm reloaded. Well, guess what? We are reloaded right now on Ford. That was a good reload, man. Reloaded down here in the 40s. We talked about it possibly dumping off the open, and there it is. Merry Christmas to all right there. That's a good trade. We took a little bit out. Let's see where it can go. It could still fall, so let's make sure that we don't count our chickens, Neil, before they hatch. And there goes CCL. Another one, man. Yes, sir. Backflip central here on CCL as that is now taking out highs, man. Ford long, CCL long. Hard to go wrong with these two today.
Tesla continuing to drop, so it does not hold that 87 support. As I just got into that FLGC, so I did miss the 87 breakdown, and I'm managing also that CCL trade. I got back into PSTV, which again looks like it's going to be a failed breakout on that one. Going to give it to about that 90 level, and IMMX is the other one we're looking at. No run to $8. I mean, I thought maybe if it got to $8 and failed, that would be a not good. I wasn't going to take the breakout today. I thought people might want to do that. That was probably an awesome short at that price, but I didn't take it, so it's going to fall down here. I'm not trying to catch a bid on IMMX. Those are the kind of stocks, I only want them approaching those key levels. Trying to catch a falling sword there is probably not worth it.
Okay, so we are getting, yeah, agreed. I'm getting into AMC right now. Obviously, I like this name for the long-term play here, off of 20, long-term, I mean, we're going to be scalping it, but off of 26. So we just fell down. The real play for me is to take this 26.20 or so. We just take a little flyer there at 30. We do want to get more here as it's starting to fall in. We are going to watch out for that 26 break, and that's it, man. If it breaks through here, 26 flat, we'll see. It's right down there. If I just don't want to be a part of it if it does come to the downside. We'll try it one more time. We do like this name going upside right there. There's CCL or AMC, sorry, a quick little 20 cents up into the money now. So let's see if it can withhold this. Take a piece out now, and then it's too bad because we were waiting at 21 there to get a better position. But right now, AMC trying to work, just touch 50s.
Yeah, and the weakness in NVIDIA is almost taking it negative here. I mean, you're looking at the NASDAQ, which is starting to come off. It doesn't hold 16.5. It's now testing overnight bottom. Well, I mean, overnight level here at 16.47, and that 300 could come into play relatively rapidly in NVIDIA. I'm sitting in front of it. I guess the breakout will have to wait on this particular name till another time. So it is what it is. I'm going to sit in front of it. It could be a really, really tight stop for me, though.
Okay, man. Ford, one more time here. Let's just take this out as it goes right back to highs. Like, that was honestly, like, I know people are saying this is the best soundbite on the show. I mean, we just reloaded this name, man. It's like boom, boom, boom. Ford to the upside right now. That, you know, that call. Sometimes you got to be confident in some of the calls, and you know, if you're able to reload that, that's what you got to do. Okay, here comes NIO as discussed, straight to the downside right now. We've noticed Ford, not Ford, Tesla. Yes, woo, thank you, Ms. V. Good heads up right there. We did notice that Ford came all the way to the down, came a little bit to the downside, as did your Tesla there. Not yours, but you were talking about it, as Tesla coming back to the downside. So here, NIO waiting for a little bit longer, but maybe we'll take a little starter position here as it has dumped. Darn it, man. We were waiting at no 51s, went as low as 61. So maybe we'll just try to be patient and see if that comes through eventually. But NIO right now on a little bit of a dip move here. Wow, AMC, man, just loaded us up at 20. So let's see where we go.
I'll tell you what's crazy. Like, I'll get to this GNPX in a quick second. That just continues to flush. It's at like 290s or so, heading down even further. But got into NVIDIA in front of that 300. It actually bounced off 350. I was sitting at 350. I did not get the fill down there. And once it recovered through 301, I said, okay, we'll take it on the way back into the upside. It's trying to test 302 here. As always, with a bounce trade like this, I'm not looking any gift horses in the mouth. I'm just going to take the profit sitting in front of a level like that. You want to make sure you bank it when you get that chance. CCL, which is the other long position, that broke. It got all the way to like 22.35. This is what it was NIO yesterday. NIO had the breakout trade. It gave you the first two exit points, and on the third, it stopped me out flat. I'm going to put my stop a little bit out of the money here. If it goes past 21.90, I'm just going to get out of this trade and walk away from it and make sure I don't turn negative, because the way breakouts have gone, at least in the last couple of months here, I feel like they hadn't been as high probability. So turning a winner into a loser, not usually a good idea, but definitely a case of me not wanting to do it in this case.
Yeah, for sure, and that's why, guys. Like on that CCL, we were able to get something out up there at 22.50. So we do want to, 22.30. We do want to obviously watch this near as it's ticking a little bit down. AMC getting ready to take out 26. We'll be in this trade not for very long when that does happen. So this looks like it's going to fail to the downside. Here goes right now, AMC looking to break lower. So not a good trade here, but again, not a huge position. We are waiting for this to eventually make a bottom, and then hopefully we can smack this thing to the long side here as CCL and AMC both starting to fall back down. Ford, though, 50 cents in the money. Ford taking out 23 right now, Brendo. What up?
Here goes the banks as well. 2 days in a row here for basically the entire group. JP Morgan leading, just made a day high 165 and change, but above these levels now. For JP Morgan, I'll flip over quickly, show you this one as well. Wells Fargo, 2.8 as well, having a nice day.
So, I mean, this is, look, we're looking for what's a halt trade going to be, and it's Hoth. The cold planet of Hoth, which apparently is also a stock, up 90%. Looks like it just halted a couple of minutes ago. Thank you guys, because it's a fantastic community we have here pointing this one out to us. Breaking through, and I love it when it's breaking through a high. You look at the daily chart as well. There's a bit of a level here at that 35, probably more likely 150. I'll try to trade on the reopen, but that's a lot of times the one that you want on that initial move. I'm going to double check to see if we have locates on this. So HOTH. Your first halt of the day, at least the first one that I found. Certainly I could have missed on one, but that GNPX continues to flush. It's now down at 285. Gonna have to start getting my bids out there. And in the other direction, I guess sort of trying to go back to the upside is NVIDIA, pulling right back in. So the first dip was pretty good. We'll see what happens the second time at 301. Brendan?
2 days in a row for the banks, 2 days in a row for energy stocks as well. Oxy again today, guys, through 32 there. Big volume spike went off. So more than 3% here for Oxy so far.
Ooh, I like energy this year.
Yeah, energy is going to be a good play. As right now, NEO, we did finally get into that name right here at 51. Let's see where we go, up to 32.70 maybe here for NIO. So we do have a little take there. Remember, we did talk about this fading in here down to the downside. So maybe today is not the day that we retrace back upside right here. But guys, like honestly, let's just go. I mean, look at Ford. Long, reload, all the way to the upside. If you're not trading this name today, or at least looking at some of the sticky notes and whatnot that we've put out here, Ford, man, just continues to work. Here it goes right to the upside. We've loved the breakout yesterday. This has been a monster trade for me. Randy came over and was like, man, where are you long? And that's why I looked. $12 here on Ford, and we just picked this trade up not even that long ago. We've been loving Ford for a very, very long time, and there it is, breaking back above one more time. So let's take a piece out as we just took that out, and it's been a good trade for us up to 23.12 there. Take a piece out now, and let's see what happens moving forward here. But Ford right now continues to work today, man. There it is, bouncing around 23. A good trade. I'm taking another piece out, though.
Yeah, just going back over to NVIDIA quickly, it actually held that 301 the second time through. Now about $1.50 in the money. I'm holding out for that 306 level I talked about before. I said I'd let Foot Locker on our watch list getting a downgrade. I'd let that one open up and find a bit of a range. It holds the pre-market highs at 43.50 area, so I like to short around 43. Once it reclaims that to the downside, I'm going to go short on a breakdown in Foot Locker. Again, downgrade. What is good for online and bad for supply chains with Nike, I think is going to be a problem here for Foot Locker. So 43, looking for it to break back to the downside. Then I'll enter. My stop would be at 43.50, which is the high of the day. And again, some of these names don't do the best volume pre-market. Foot Locker is definitely on that list, so allow it to open, settle down and make a range. Once it does that, I'm more comfortable getting my orders out to go. I talked about NVIDIA. So I wanted to just quickly show you. This is the 1 minute. We already scalped some out there, 301 to 302 half. But it is this 306 level that I'm looking at. I still have an order for a break at 306. So when that breaks out, I like it, which means I'm covering this long in front of that price level. So I'll park something in front of 305, get out of that trade. Got to get out before you can take that next level to the long side. I'm not really looking to go short this name, but the market not cooperating for now. I mean, the NASDAQ is holding in positive territory. I'm not sure we're getting that breakout unless the NASDAQ goes back to the green.
So just to review my AMC trade, was a losing trade there. We did get out at the bottom. And then just like I said I wouldn't do, I just got to get this. This was supposed to be my New Year's resolution here. Like, we got out at that breaking spot at 26, which we should have done. And then that bottom wick right there made me get right back in, and we, again, take double the shares right back up to the upside and hold this rate to VWAP again. This may not work out, but we did take out how much? Only 30% up here. So we only took out 30% on this doubled up position. We're still going to use 25, this bottom here, 25.85 as our out. But right now, not looking great here looking fine on the reload back to the upside. But we did lose on our first spot there with AMC. So alert on that one, but we did take 30% out just on VWAP. Let's see if it can go. It didn't go yesterday. Maybe today is the day. A good out there on Ford. It does dip down into 80s. I'd rather see this thing come back into here before we reload this one more time. This has been a big trade for me, so not really much to do here rather than let the rest ride on Ford. And then NEO, honestly, I think we have a good spot here on NEO, 32.50. It's bouncing around. We just got as high as 68 there. Oh, that sucks because I was waiting at 71 for some reason. So let's put our order a little bit lower there, see if we can't take out a piece. It just allows the hits to be a little bit better if we are wrong on a name. But then at the same time, you don't then able to expand your trading to the upside. So we'll try to hold on to a little bit. We'll get out of some here if we're able to at 32.70. And here it comes rocking right back up to that level. We can't keep talking without showing some more Ms. V. Let's give the people what they want. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey, Sean, we've got a super chat from Chris Ann. $2,400 in 10 minutes between stocks and options on Ford. Thank you for everything you all do every day. Appreciate the energy and the dumb things we say every minute. Keep it up. Congratulations, Chris. Great job, guys. I hope you're all having a great, profitable day. Back to you guys.
Awesome.
That hit fast, man. I mean, that was really, as soon as Valeria's back to you, it was awesome. So I don't know if that worked out well or not well, but we'll do it again. Wow. Good trade there. Thank you so much, Chris, for all the love there. And I mean, Check out the sticky note, man. We had Ford written on there at 8 o'clock this morning. So there it is. Chris just saying, thank you very much. Hold my beer. 2400 in 10 minutes. That's a week's worth right there. Thank you, Chris. Great super chat. And thank you so much. And then the man, the myth, the legend has been giving us super chats every single day. Thank you so much, William Craig, for the 20. So let's keep these super chats going, man. We had a monster day for you guys on Friday. Yesterday was huge as well. Big time. Disney going for 160. Yeah, let's go Disney for 160. And there's another piece out, man. Yeah, let's go again. Dropping grenades here today as NEO continues to make moves to the upside. Man, it's been a good day. Ford up 50 cents, NEO now up, AMC running, everything making that cash. And the one man that we can never, ever leave by his lonesome. What's up, Brendan?
Not typically an exciting day trade, but HPE, guys, just popping up on a volume scanner here at session highs, I guess. This is also, though, 52-week highs after Barclays with a 25% price target hike for HPE this year.
And yeah, I mean, HP is certainly looking good. I'm kicking myself because one of the things I wanted to do more of this year is, we talked about this, Sean, was get these halt trades. The first one to go was that Hoth. It halted a second time instantly. I'm surprised it's not going to be. Surprised it's actually not going to be opening up too much higher than the 158 it closed at. 162 is indicated open. On the daily chart, like I said, there wasn't a heck of a lot to look at, but this is one. Now that it's halted a second time, I have to start thinking about where I would want to short it. If you look back on the daily, you're looking at like 180 and then $2 would be the obvious level. So that's where I'll lean into if I have to do so. NVIDIA's back to flat, so we're going to have a quick look there. But Hoth has now got my attention. I did load back in FLGC. Look, the other shorts are working, so I shouldn't be complaining too much about the missed trade on Hoth. FLGC just made another leg down, so I'm going to start taking some more shares out in front of 220. GNPX continues to fall. Tesla on the way to a 1210 break. I scalped a 1200 breakout because 1210 is still the level. Now 1210 is coming very rapidly here on Tesla. Looks like that didn't take very long for it to reverse at all.
Rapido. So let's wait to see here as CCL comes in here. So we were thinking about a pullback down in this name. We took the breakout and we were lucky to get it out. So now we're back into this average price right back here at pre-market lows. So yeah, CCL not really. I thought this was a breakout candidate today because we are above this sort of 2170 level where we've come right back into. So yeah, we are going to this back, and I'm going to give this back here, man, like 21. Yesterday's dip price, 21 and a quarter, something like that. So let's see if CCL can continue to work here. Our average price now is 80, as you can see on board. We just took a 70. What price was that? Was that 75 exactly? Yeah. So we take a 75 bid there. Average price 80. Let's see where we can go. I mean, we like the name. We've talked about that. So CCL hopefully continues to work here. Back upside. Again, targets maybe right now 90, 95, something like that. I kind of like to get out a little bit where the run starts. So that's like 96, 97 if it does come back in. But that's another name right there. I didn't even realize you hit that Tesla. That's a great trade. Breaking back above 1200 there. So we're going to see if we can have the same fate on a lot of these names. Ford right back to day's high now as well. So yeah, rocking and rolling happening here today. And AMC just dipping around. So hopefully AMC wants to go for a run as well. We are already at 11 a.m. here. So shout out to Mr. Arun, shout out to Hydration Nation as we're trying to crush this water. New year, new lifestyle. Let's go back up. Well, not new, but we're going to try to crush this every day now if we can. Water, the drink of champions.
I would like to say, well, I mean, it's
until we're sponsored by Gatorade or something like that.
All champions drink water. You know what? I do not drink Gatorade. I used to be all over Gatorade.
Yeah, we don't even give it.
Only H2O, man. Like, that's just the way to go. And if you do Gatorade, I would dilute it. That's just, anyways, man. My track coach, his wife was like a dietitian and kind of had us on the right path when it came to making sure you hydrate. Hoth is reopened. I said once it halts twice, I'm looking for a place to short it. It does not get to that $2 level, obviously, as you can see here. Puts in a capitulation, and once it gets back below the halt price, which is at 158, I'm essentially shorting it right here at 148-ish. Got a couple of fills in there. I'll give it back to that halt area and then 160. I'll take more shares closer to that 150 if I can. But what goes up usually can come down. It doesn't mean it's always the case, but a lot of times that's what you see. Tesla, just to come to another name, Tesla actually checked up there does not break out that 1210 level, still has that breakout potential. 1200 does break, it reclaims that level in and out, but I think we're looking back to this 1210 for a potential breakout. Looks like for now, that's kind of your classic pop and fade trade. If it was any stock other than Tesla, I might be shorting it, but it is Tesla, so I'm not.
Yeah, pop, lock, and drop it right there. Look at CCL, guys. Bang again. Bang, right there comes through on CCL. Another great reload opportunity. Boomed it right there to the upside. So far, so good on this trade. And everything we're holding is cash right now. 25 pennies in the money on AMC. 12 pennies in the money on CCL. 75 cents. 75 cents right now in the money for Ford as that keeps on going. Shout out to all the super chats as well. As Ford taking out 23, Randy, 23.20 on Ford right now. As that keeps on rocking, rolling, as Randy coming back into the building right now. Neo trying to go to the upside as well, but we have Brendan. What's up, my man?
Yeah, this GM benefiting from that Ford move, it would appear as well. Through 63, guys, day highs for GM as well, up 3.5%.
Yeah, clearly GM's been drinking that Brondo. You guys aren't going to get that reference, but we talked about H2O, and someone just dropped in the chat there. That's right.
Rajon Brondo.
No, it's
I know.
If you've never seen, it's Idiocracy. It's one of the funniest movies that's ever been made. It's a hilarious one where Gatorade, or their version of it, is what they give the plants. Brondo is what the plants need. Hoth is what I gotta have, and Hoth is what I'm into right now. So I just added to it one more time here. Tried to break 150. Now I have the full position on. If it breaks out through that halt price, fair enough, I'll get out. Will I take some out in front of the halts? Well, you guys probably know this. Will I take some out in front of the halt price to the upside, that 135? Of course. So I always look at these halt levels as good price areas to trade around. So I think that could end up being initial support. If it gets 10 cents in the money, it's a $1.50 stock. I don't see any reason not to take profit off if I do get it. A couple of names that were also in here that are continuing to work. That FLGC looks like it's making that next leg down. So first consolidation, 225. Second consolidation was 218. Got out in front of both. The next one's going to be a couple of outs between 210 and then 2 even. So that one continues to flush into the downside here. Eye is still on Tesla, and eye is still on NVIDIA trying to make that recovery. NVIDIA got as high as 303.5. Right back in. So if it breaks 300, looks like that dip buy is not going to work. It'll still be positive because we took profit, but NVIDIA continuing its run to the downside is could be value. I mean, I just got stopped out, hands off the keys at 300. There could be some value to be had. The second I see NVIDIA go to the downside, the name I've been trying to get into, I want to see what Global Foundries is doing. I look at it, and it's up 3%, and it's holding the highs. It's like, you can't wait for a dip on this thing. I just feel like at some point, I got to get into Global Foundries. I'm just watching it run away from me every single day.
Yep, I agree with you on that one 100%. And look at CCL. This one not running at all, so we'll just go, yeah, and stack up some cash one more time, man. Like everything today just seems to be turning out. So a good day here for CCL. AMC was the one that we lost on this average in, but able to make it back up there. But I do understand that was a quick trade there. So waiting for that little bottom wick. We could now get stopped out, but we are out of now 40% as it does come right back up to 30. So if we get stopped out, this will be a losing trade for us today for sure. And our stop out is this level. I'm not even going to average into this anymore. If this comes, well, maybe we will. Maybe we'll average in a little bit here. If it does break, well, it looks like it's going to break right now. So why not? Let's just stop talking about this and take some more. If this doesn't work, it doesn't work. There it is. We get the 01s there. And we're just going to see. If it pops back up, great. If not, definitely worth the risk reward here on 20 cents. So we'll see if this is worth it for 20 down to the downside there. We reload the position there on AMC and looking for some new opportunities, man. Ford's a great one. GM's a great one there. Pfizer's getting interesting back down to 24 again. So I'm not exactly sure what's, 54. Yeah, 24. Yeah, believe me. Brendan.
If Pfizer hit 24,
Brendan might have came with some news.
I probably would
on that
cry.
one.
I would probably cry.
Yeah, I wouldn't cry. I'd be backing up the truck.
Pfizer turned into a stock. It's never meant to be what it is in the portfolio because it was a sort of a value play in that space. And then all of a sudden it makes those crazy runs, and it's like I would have missed an opportunity to trim a little bit more of it. I'm not going to miss an opportunity to get out of some Hoth. I talked about that halt price to the first halt up, then at 135. I'm now half out in front of that level. So you get the consolidation below the initial halt price, short that. start getting out halfway here. The rest of it, I'm looking at this 110 to 125 cluster from the open. I could actually point at the level I'm talking about there. If we break 35, that's what I'm looking for. I think there's a chance to reload. I don't think I would do that unless it tested right up at that top, guys. So I'm looking to get back into some more shares of Hoth. I'm not there yet. It looks like Tesla's put in a total reversal back in here. So yeah, I mean, I guess it doesn't want to go through that 1210. If it breaks 87, that previous level that I looked at from yesterday in the afternoon, if it breaks it again, I don't even want the breakout trade. I'll go like judgment call if it gets back up there, but I'm going to cancel my breakout order as it gets a little bit too far away from that price. I can always put it back in if I still like it, but I tend to not like breakout trades or orders sitting out there in the market when you get too far away from the price because you're more prone to forget about it, right? When it's close to that level, you're watching it. When it gets far away, you can kind of get lazy, which I know I'm going to do myself a lot of times. So going to cancel my Tesla breakout at 1210. Doesn't mean I won't have it. I just don't want it sitting out there in the ether.
Ether, yeah, talk about Ether. We will talk about some crypto coming up very, very soon. But right now, AMC just still battling at that 26 flat mark. So we'll have to check out what AMC is up to. But we're going to check out with Brendan first.
2 days in a row here, guys, for Taiwan Semiconductor. I mentioned it yesterday, but this time, in fact, just taking out day highs here on volume again. Another 4% for TSM.
Yeah, I saw that.
TSM, baby. And oh my goodness, it didn't trade yesterday, but I'm going to point this one out here because your other way that you can play into, and you talked about this one, Brennan. I love it. I own it. Lithium, LAC in Toronto. Of course, it's dual listed, so you could have traded yesterday. That just broke the 50 period. It's up actually 10% on the session, making a very, very strong move here. So going in opposite directions of Tesla, but one of the safer ways, I shouldn't say safer, one of the ways you can play in the EV space without actually having to pick a stock is to own something like LAC. So it made a bit of a backwards push here at the end of the year, but it's already making a bit of a breakout. First day of trading here in Toronto. I'm always going to call it up in Toronto because that's where I personally own the shares. I understand it is dual listed though.
Yeah, same symbol though, right? LAC.
It's still, yeah, it's LAC in both. But.
Okay, right here. So AMC, it's getting. We didn't get stopped out there, no, very close. Getting ready to get taken out here as it's just made the new bottom. I mean, our average price now is 02s. So when we do get stopped out, like we said, this is perfect. I mean, not perfect. We don't want to get stopped out, but this is planned. We take the amount of shares and we have our out now breaking back down through 80. So, if that does get triggered through, that's our out back down through 80. So watch out for that one, possibly coming in right now on AMC. So you guys may get, if you're long AMC, just watch out. I just don't want to play these wicks more and more. So let's see. Last time we wicked down here, we made an aggressive move to the upside. Hey, if that happens again, I'm sitting here waiting for that, but not counting those eggs here because I don't think that may not happen. But
chickens.
Whatever. Yep, chickens, exactly. Okay, so but one thing that we're not worried about, and it's our number one name today, it's our number one stock on the list, and that is going to be Ford. It just continues to work. No surprise here for me on the move here today for Ford. Breakout, breakout, breakout. All we've been doing is talking about that one all day yesterday. I've been talking about this for 6 months. So Ford, a nice move to the upside, and you got to take advantage of that when it does happen. And today we did exactly that, including that reload rate there. So we like Ford. Let's see where it goes from here. But for right now, we're going to see what's up with Brendan again.
AUVI, guys, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. That applied UV had some positive news. Heavy volume traded yesterday. We're right back to that high. 370 was where we kind of stalled out on the day for AUVI. Remember, this was down huge going back to last week on an offering, a debt raise for applied UV.
I just noticed another runner here, and a good look. The AUVI, it's come up a couple of times, and like I look at that top that you're pointing out there, and you get like those double, triple tops, and they get pretty interesting. And that's my segue to Rivian up that 3%. 106.5. If you go back right to like you go right back into yesterday's action when it fell down hard, Rivian, and then you go back to last year when it had resistance at 108. That's a good target area for a bit of a reversal. It's right there in the wall. It's trying to get there in the pocket, so it is on my radar. Not one that I was watching a few moments ago, and this is one of those days where I always find sometimes you find yourself in this situation. It's like I look at the longs we played. Tesla gave me a quick in and out for a win. NVIDIA an in and out for a win. CCL, but all of them came back into the downside. So, and then the longs that didn't work were some of those small caps. And I'm just sitting in the shorts that are running. And when you have the market going for you and they're in the pocket, sometimes you just want to let those work. So that's essentially what I'm trying to do here. Hoth is still holding that first halt level, and anytime the first halt level gets held and you're short, always be cautious of that trade. Never be cautious about throwing to Miss V, however.
Hey Neil, we've got a super chat from Mark the Realtor 305. Bob and Chinese stock should run today. Also watch AVCT for a squeeze play. DVAC trending again to reap. Thank you, Mark. I hope you're having a great day. Back to you, Neil.
So, I mean, like, DWAC to me is, I think it's just right now a pure momentum play. Like, when the volume comes in, you can play it. And then a lot of times I'm just looking for, like, where's my excuse to fade it as a day trader. Alibaba, however, and don't get me wrong, like, I'm not usually shy from trading this name. If I look at where it's sitting, you know, that 120 level, it was a good trade off of that for a fade out a couple of times. And I look at it right now, like, unless you had that break, I don't know where to trade Baba right now. Like, unless you have this breakdown right here at the open, where you catching a bid? You jumping in front of the sword here at 116? I just feel like the pressure is it's too much against you. The trend is not looking very good, and it had another breakdown here at 120. So I can't really find something to the long side on Alibaba right now. If it had been on my radar at the open, I think you would have had that rollover at 120. But I put that trade on, that rollover style trade on some of these small caps, and it's tending to work out here. And as far as DWAC goes, I think, look, there's nothing wrong with it as a day trading vehicle. It's done it's done 250,000 volume. Like, I always approach it like this. I'd rather wait for it to make a volume run, and then when it goes, you can get into it. This is not a lot of a volume spike to want this break at a random price from yesterday. If it puts on a volume spike, I'm way more likely to allow it to fade off of 55 even, something like that at a double top on the 15-minute, than just gamble on the breakout when the volume hasn't come in yet. Again, that's just the way that I would approach it. I think we always kind of talk about looking for volume as a bit of a catalyst. I understand if you're looking for one or two stocks that you're just going to hold on to and you're not jumping from one to another, then yeah, maybe that's something that you want to make a play on and then hold on to it and just see if it can go risk to reward, 52.7 up to 55 resistance. But I don't see the volume right now, so I'd rather wait for it to come in, miss the pop, and then usually jump into a short. That just happens to be the way that I always approach it.
All right, yeah, good discussions everywhere, man. I mean, whatever stock style you're trading, there's lots of different methods to get in and out. So, good one there. And just watching out, yeah, Alibaba. I mean, I have the same problem with NEO right now. Coming in, and it's just like sitting here at these lows. I mean, we've taken out a little bit of profit here where we are watching out for yesterday's bottom as well, down here 31.50. I think this is worth averaging into, but today doesn't look like it's going to be a positive day. The NASDAQ, this is supposed to be the last day of the Santa Claus rally, so we'll see if that can come true. But right now, the NASDAQ trying to find a bottom. So we'll wait for NEO to get a little bit lower into the 32 area, and then buy some more down there using this 31.50 as our stop. So right now, you know, we're going to wait on NEO. Everything else seems to be working, man. Ford running to the upside. CCL right back. A nice little move up on CCL as well. So all is good here, man. Just waiting. AMC continues to tick down. We did take a quick out on AMC there, but there it is. One more time breaking the bottom. So a couple ins, a couple outs, but AMC today doesn't look like the bulls are here. So we'll wait for a better price on AMC. Let's stop trying to pick bottoms and go over right now to see what is happening now at the big board with Brendo.
Yeah, positive numbers right across the board for the most part this morning, guys. Just the NASDAQ kind of lagging a little bit in the red for both the composite and the 100 there. It's only 0.3, we'll call it, so not a big deal. S&P 500, that much to the upside so far. The Dow leading the way today, 0.8% for the Dow 30. Nice day so far. The Russell 2000 up 0.5%. 1N 3000 about 0.3 to the upside. Yeah, TSX back open here in Toronto once again today. 0.7 back to the upside after having a holiday yesterday for New Year's. Here we go. Apple, yeah, nice day so far. I mean, we're holding some key levels for what was Apple yesterday, but notably volume a little bit on the light side compared to actually the past couple of sessions for Apple. It's worth noting. The banks, not on the watch list this morning, but maybe should have been because, wow, pretty impressive again for WFC, JP Morgan, even Goldman, guys, back higher once again. Back over to you.
No.
Look at me and Neil just looking here. Thank you for pointing that out. What the hell, Brendan?
I mean, did we even on this stock?
Did we even talk about a firm like a firm today? Like what just happened here with a firm? Like everything was cruising, and then as Rob just said, she gone. I don't know what just happened here. Breaking 90. There's really no key levels here on Affirm. Like
it broke the 200
I guess that's
period.
what it, and probably this 92. So we go back down here to 92. She gone. I mean, you want to talk about some stocks here that people are holding said bag on? Like, look at Affirm, guys. Like Affirm, everyone like, yeah, man, this is a jam. They got the deal with Amazon, everything. This is a jam stock. And right now, right back to where they got the deal.
Remember, DOJ was. What means
not just that, I think it's the buy now, never pay later theory.
That's part of it, but the regulators are also looking into regulating them. That just actually came out of my mouth. So that's also going to be true. And fintech has been under a little bit of pressure as well. So you got to pick your poison here. This is actually, I think it's, my stink bid is definitely filled because I was sitting, I told you guys yesterday, in between that 200 period and that support here at 87. And a lot of times you got to be really patient and just wait for these levels to come back into you. And you never, I always say this, and I know it's kind of lame to say, but when you sell on the way up, a lot of times it looks bad. But trust me, when these high valuation names come back down, you're not going to regret it. That was true about Lemonade. That was true about Virgin Galactic. That was true about, it's now true about Affirm. And it's true about Plug Power. You look stupid sometimes when you sell on the way up because you get out too early. But it also means when things don't work out for you, you're not there holding the bag. You're holding a portion that you're comfortable doing so. So always do that. And it affords you the opportunity to reload back into it. Here's your chance on Affirm. If you like this story for the next 1 to 2 years, which I do, then I think this is going to be an opportunity, if it bases out, to get some in. I already had a stink bid from yesterday, which I didn't realize even filled until Sean was just like, look at Affirm, and I was like,
because your first buy on this was 106, right?
What's that?
You bought this at 106.
Oh, God, no. The first time I bought Affirm was underneath 60.
No, I mean recently, because that was a good level.
No, it was.
That 106.
But if you didn't take any profit on this, look, you got to take profit on the way up. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, I was trying to say, like, some of these levels that are cracking here, you know, you got to, on everything, we could call up Upstart. I mean, whatever. There's, like Neil said, there's so many names there. And that's why even a stock like today, NVIDIA coming down, you know, there's a lot of risk being taken off. A lot of Santa Claus rally rate today looks like it's coming out of some of the names that have been hot, like AMD, even like Affirm. Affirm hasn't been hot, but over the time it's been super hot. SoFi coming back down to $15 today. This is the day right now today where you may be able to go shopping, Brendan.
Another one here, guys, Roblox, getting the flush treatment a little bit here today as well. Day lows at 4% right now. Key levels for Roblox as well.
Yeah, like I'm at this point now, like I'm looking at a lot of the names here. I'm looking at the NASDAQ and, you know, down 0.5%. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, it might just be a hang on to the shorts, and think about like where you might want to consider patiently bidding. Oh, daily chart on Hoth is useless. This Hoth just broke the halt price and just broke VWAP. So that target range I talked about from a 120 down into this 105, that could come into play. I'll probably take, I might get on the 1/4 just because it's the quarters, and then get some bids down here into that range. So again, being patient, not forcing the action on a lot of these names, and sort of holding on to what's working for you. Tesla obviously is now starting to really fall down. So in that break, it took you to that 1210. If it was any other stock, I mean, that is your rollover failing to break through the high. But again, it was Tesla, so I didn't short it. I can stick to the small cap names, which are working out for us. Hoth, that GNPX. And if you're looking at the EV space, you can't talk about Tesla without talking about Lucid. That is also cracked below the day as well, back below the $40 range. So you are getting a bit of a pullback, which is what's so interesting about Rivian here, because Rivian went the other way yesterday. Rivian went the other way, was going down when those names went up. And today, it made a spike. I made the classic goof, and you're probably going to be able to figure this out. I just talked about the target range for shorting Rivian, and it was right there. Well, guess what? We got to pay for shorts on Rivian, and I'm not used to that. So again, it's not the first time I got fooled by this last week, but it's not expensive. But I keep forgetting that we have to pay for shorts on Rivian.
You don't have
I don't have it.
That was the funny thing, because you didn't have to. Last week you didn't
have to before.
You did not have to, and all of a sudden now you have to. But whatever, I can pay for them. I'm just going to try to find out how much they are here.
Maybe like 1 cent.
Let's see, submit here. I'll just show you guys. Oops. Anyways, I didn't do it right. I didn't select my trader. But okay, we'll just continue to trade, and we'll look for Rivian. Neil probably going to get on that soon, and we'll come back. Okay, so Neo right now, just to let you know, our average price is 28. I mean, we're going to be out of the money right now, 30 cents. And again, well worth the risk to reward profile for me on this trade. You know, we killed it yesterday. We're not going to give it back today. I promise you on that one. But we are waiting for this to fall back in, and we could be completely wrong. This is a big move back down. I have 31.50 staring at me. So we'll average into this price, and hopefully 31.50 holds. If it doesn't, for me, it's an easy out. Yesterday, the longs were working. Today, it doesn't look like they are. And again, nothing wrong with switching up your game, man. If you are normally going long, easy to go short. It's just hit the other side of the button, turn the charts around, and have a look at some of these names as they bounce around here. I don't want to take anything out of Ford, but obviously I am noticing here that Ford is trying to pull back a little bit. Its high was 40. It just dipped back down into 10. I didn't like that. But at the same time, I don't think we need to dump this name. It's probably worth holding on. 7%. It could go a lot higher than that, but this is a big move here for Ford. Up 7 is good, but all eyes looking at this. So again, if people are sitting here like wondering what to do on some of their names, I believe that, some of the money that's in some of these other names, Ford may catch some of that bid, right? Like Rivian, money coming maybe out of Rivian. And again, these are just talking. You could buy ETFs. There's lots of things to buy, but maybe coming out of some of these higher flyers and going into a name like Ford. You saw Tesla. You mentioned it broke below, right, Neil? Yeah. Okay. So
Tesla's broken.
Yeah, well below.
Yeah, just bounced off 75.
Yeah, well below now that 12. So that was a good break both ways today. Upside through 12 and then down through 12 as well. Never printed against you. So far so good here on some of these names, but we got to hold out, man. This NASDAQ needs to bounce in a hurry as we're right now near bottom. So let's see if it takes it out. Otherwise, some of these longs are DOA, guys.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. I think people, there's another name coming up here, and you got to jump to what's moving, right? So again, going to hang on to the shorts that are working, and then start thinking about what's going to be moving into some levels that we can actually trade. NLSP just popped on the radar. I oddly enough got rejected on my Rivian short. It came up as like 0.7 cents a share.
Really?
And then I got rejected, which doesn't usually happen. So my guess is the price changed as I was hitting accept. This NLSP just turned at $2.
Maybe.
But that's nothing on the daily chart. Like I'm looking at this and sort of saying, okay, 200 period 270, this level up here at about 287. So it's got some runway. If it goes parabolic again, it would be a halt candidate, but I'm not shorting it at $2 for that reason. It's a little bit deep in the move for me to like a breakout. I think maybe it would have been a scalp trade just there, but on my radar, I want to double check a few things, what its float is and what the actionable news is as well. I hate trading blind.
NLSP. Yeah, and we can actually do, just because I'm looking right here, AMC just continues to fall down, guys. I mean, that stock here, let's just have a quick look. Good thing we got out of the way. And I mean, we're trying to do a little bit better for us here on the daily charts and looking and not holding out to anything for too long. So you wanted NLSP. So shout out to Michael Noss and Trade Ideas, NLSP. So we're just going to check this out. You call up Trade Ideas, NLS Pharmaceuticals. It's only a 6 million share float, Neil, so we are obviously very light on that one. And the short float is probably not going to be correct as these change all the time, but we have 1.93, so Brendan will probably double check that one today. But today's volume, 4,000% higher than normal. So NLSP right there, only 6 milli on that one. So we'll watch that. CCL right now, yes, sir, guys. Spin it for CCL today. CCL, a big trade for me, man. Again, there's only 4 names here on the sticky note today, and they've been pretty good today so far, I would think. Ford, we're already long in the pre-market. We talked about that right here. Look, Ford breakout was amazing. We are already long in the pre right there. So that gives us a 22.50 marker on this. So we're $1 in from this note alone. So please, guys, check out the sticky note. Every day we're putting up bangers. There's a reason why this has gotten so popular, and thank you to all you guys for it. We did think, is AMC ready? So we asked the question. We put the shares on AMC. Not ready is the response today. We say wait for NEO to dip. We do that. Ford and CCL, man, watch out for the 21 support. So far today, man, the sticky note has been pretty good.
Oh my goodness, NVIDIA's at support already?
Yeah, NVIDIA. A lot of these names are dropping down, man. DraftKings down big time today. Neil's got NVIDIA. I'll check out over here on AMD. Like I said, get your shopping list out. Although 1.6% on AMD is a hold my beer type of move, it's absolutely nothing. You've seen where AMD can come from, and we were at 130 a couple weeks ago, back on December 20th. So big time movement to the upside on a lot of these names, but let's just keep on rocking and rolling, man. Trade the names that have been working for you. Look at GM, Neil. I know you own this one as well. GM all the way, man. New 52-week highs pretty much here for GM today off the Ford news. GM doesn't have the F-150s or anything like that, but they do have a fleet. They're working on electrifying everything. So let's go GM, man. For me, their big one is going to be the Cadillac. Once they can get those going, an Escalade, something like that, then you'll see that starting to take off to the upside as well. But all good right now, and a little bit of a rebound here in these EV names today: Rivian, Ford, GM, Tesla, just suffering the brunt of it.
Yeah, and when I was saying NVIDIA at support, I'm looking at the 15-minute chart here, just going, and it's interesting because when I talked about it this morning, I think in passing might have mentioned this level down here at 294, definitely in passing, and was sort of like 300 is that first level. We scalped in and out of the 300 very quickly. We said it had to break out at 306 to be a really big runner, and I just got into it at 295 here. The first time it bounced off of this 293, 294 level. If it holds it a second time, I'll add to it. But this is not one of those go to the grave with the stock levels. It either holds up here and checks up, or I'm just going to be in and out and take your poison, right? Like, you cannot, on a day like today, where obviously some people are taking some profit and you're getting some capitulation, like I said, you hold the shorts that are in the money and you don't dig in too much. But I like that level. We liked it this morning. It comes in. At least I can say we waited for it to get down to this price level on NVIDIA before jumping back in. A lot of times last year, it's like, oh, I might have bought it at 97, 98, and then averaged in more at like 94, 95. At least this time I waited for it to get down here. First buy at 95. It's got to show me some signs of making a consolidation before I would even think about adding to this one. Getting very, very weak there. If you're watching that Hoth trade, by the way, it got to my first level. Oops, 15 minutes is not good there. It got to that first level and bounced in front of it. So I took some shares out of 25 because it's the quarters. If it can hold VWAP and hold that halt price, I think we're good to go to get down to that 105 to 120 level. I only point that one out because it did halt a couple of times, so I think it's a little more volatile than FLGC and GNPX, which are pretty comfortable right now.
Yes, for sure. As you guys can see, guys, Neil trading a lot. Basically, big caps, small caps, shorting things, longing things, playing breakouts. I mean, if we're not doing it all for you today, I'm not sure what else we could do. Valeria, we only have 1.3K likes. So I'm not going to steal one of Valeria's lines yet. I'm going to say it right now. I believe right now, Miss V, it is like a clock. So let's throw it back over to Miss V. She's got the green on. It will rally the markets here later on. So let's go over to Miss V right now and see what's good over there on the big desk.
Yes, Sean, it is like a clock. So guys, if you were not sure where to like this video, maybe you just joined us or simply forgot, please do it right now. We're doing great, 1,400 so far, but I know we can do better. So dear viewers, please help us to get at least 2,000 likes by the end of the show. Give us your like, it's absolutely free and helps the show so much. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Ms. V. I'm going down the line because anytime I see moves like this, I want to look for relative strength and weakness. Yesterday, at one point for like 3 seconds, I said to myself, or when I looked at my chart or my quote board, I said Oracle, ooh, that was a weak day. And Oracle, an older, I guess, tech name that wasn't doing as well yesterday, actually up and making a bit of a bounce. And again, sometimes you pull out the shopping list. If I didn't have a position in Oracle, this would have 100% been a buy off the 200 period moving average. I think it still can be. If you look at how deep this pullback is on one of the better performers, definitely in the space. It was a great run for this stock yesterday, but these levels here at 88, 89, and then bouncing off the 200 period moving average, that's a pretty solid bet. And you want to be in names that the valuations look pretty solid. And I think this year, Oracle, not a bad one here, and I'm willing to bet as the NASDAQ comes down here. You look at another name which is load in the cloud space, load. You know I'm going to be doing that every single time. Microsoft, I was kind of hoping to see, I'd expected to see it up on a day like today, but it's holding up pretty nicely. Like, obviously, it's down 0.5%, but it is holding some pretty key levels here as well. So you look at that one, it's up at the 50 period. Like, that's way farther away. Like, if that gave you the 200 period, you'd be basically falling all over yourself and doing some ugly things to buy shares of it. But I just sort of look at what is relatively strong. When I saw Oracle relatively strong, I was hoping to see Microsoft in the green. Kind of interesting to see it in the red here today. NVIDIA, just going to come up here. Whoops. Go back to NVIDIA. Come on, there we go. NVIDIA, I just keystroked out of this one. I meant to put an offer up here at 297 and then got out of some of my shares. I'm still in position. But we always say this, if you get into position, you don't mean to do it, just get right back out. If you get out of position and don't mean to do it, just get right back in. It's kind of the same thing, right?
Yep.
And I said I would let this one settle out before I got into it, and that's Foot Locker. So I let this thing settle. It held the high at 43.50. It refused to break that low of the range it made here at like 42.95. So I don't do anything for the first half or 45 minutes of the session. It then breaks that low and I'm into it. And it's pretty simple. If it takes out the top, I'm out. That's 43.5. Otherwise, let's see if I can hold on to Foot Locker short all day long.
Yeah, Foot Locker. Yeah, Foot Locker got downgraded today, I believe, right, by somebody. So that was a good one there for sure. I believe the long. Yeah, I mean, me too here, Omar. I believe the long around 31.50 as well. So we're going to have to wait for that as Ford kind of dumping back off a little bit here as the market just continues to make lows. I'm just debating right now getting this out on Ford. It's just been such a great run up, but I know I'll probably regret it, but as a day trader, it's just one of those things where it's like it's getting ready to hit a level of just profitability. That up 8% today, something that we should probably take here. Oh, yes, Chris N. Yes, sir. Another one. Drop it down, rain down the money, another $1,500 on Ford. These boys are working hard for us. Let's pay them for free through likes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much. And Chris, we'll take the 20 as well, man. Thank you so much for that. It's called good karma there, Chris. So thank you so much for that 20 and all the super chats. If you super chat today, maybe you have better karma tomorrow or today as well. But we just want the likes. Thank you so much for all that. Super chats are great as well. But I believe that you might be into something here, Omar. This is not a big position. I mean, I wish we would have got more out here. Obviously, every trade that we have on, I'm going to try to do my best to tell you, when these are bigger shares or less shares or vice versa on a lot of this. So right now, we're going to hold out for NIO, see what it wants to do right now. But yeah, I'd like to put another spot on, and we are waiting here in the 70s. And again, all we're trying to do is look at this 3150. Unfortunately, the NASDAQ has had no love. This is the NASDAQ here today. Pull, 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 pull. It's just pulling to the downside right now. So you could see how this is coming off. We've talked about Apple would be a buy, as it starts to pull back into the 50-period moving average. You could see Apple. We got a super chat today talking about it, defending. And I said, what are some key levels on Apple, right? We talked about that on the 1-minute chart, and it was back into, I think it was off the 20-minute chart. Wasn't it 81.20, something like that, that we liked here on? Again, we have this bad, man, this is going to be hard to see with this wick down in here, but I think that there are some levels of concern right around here for Apple. I'll have to do better. I love the chart I looked at earlier. I'm going to have to find that based on that super chat. So, but Apple right now, I believe it's right around here, man, 181.50 or so for AAPL. So let's have a look at that. Anything you want to say before we go to Brendan?
Just at Peloton, I saw someone asking about it. That's getting wood. There's a lot of names that are getting punked here today. Peloton below 33, and it's starting to get pretty ugly for this name. It just actually broke that low at 33.70. Wish I had seen it. I did not. Needs to get back above that price. The previous low there at that 33.70 level. Recent low, I should say, not an all-time. But Brendan has a good one there for the small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, we were talking about that, what is it, Flora Growth, FLGC, just before the open here. I was trying to hold 220 and 230. I mentioned both kind of as an area. Very, very weak right at the open, so sellers just came in and flushed it all the way down to 2. So if you took the breakdown there of that 220, gave you a quick trade down to 2. Volume kind of drying up, though. That was about it on FLGC. GNPX wanted to make sure it was sticking around for 340 today, because 340 was support at the end of the day. If you remember, this thing was so strong yesterday, burned me a couple of times. Wanted to make sure I got the move back down today. So 340 was the level on that. We're down to 260. Should have held some, obviously. It was a huge move for that one yesterday. PSTV, if you go to a daily chart, 2 up to about 220, a huge level on the daily chart. So I just took this in front of 2 or on the way back down through 2 on that failure. That gave you a nice move down to 150 as well for PSTV, guys. Back over to you.
Eli Lilly is down.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the healthcare news. I'm like, okay, what's Danaher doing? Because recently got into that one at 95. Well, okay, takes them out on the way up. Probably should have done that here. That broke the 50 period. If that gets to the 200, I'm all over that. I like healthcare this year, so that's probably why you're going to hear me say that. NVIDIA is looking to try to make that bounce. I saw someone in the chat say they missed the 293.50 by a couple of cents. Yeah, man, it just got there and bounced. Like I said, I accidentally got out and then got back into it. But I'm looking to get first out here in front of yesterday's, like that little low here that it made, like 296.60. That'll be my first out. Then I'm looking back towards that 300 level if it makes a bigger push back in to the upside. Again, try to be patient here. The first scalp was a good one long side, but we had to get out when it capitulated. Now we're looking for the next bottom in here. Foot Locker is a new position. Otherwise, we're just holding on to what is working. I did eventually get the locates on Rivian. And we talk about preparation all the time, right? Like the reason I could say, hey, look at these levels on Rivian, it's a good short here, and have nothing to show for it is because of a lack of preparation by myself, which is, if you're looking at a stock, you want to be able to make sure you can trade it, right? So can you call it up on your platform? A, B. Can I put orders out to the offer side? And that's my own fault. I remember Prad saying last week or something that he had to pay for shorts on this one time, and I knew that, so I could have done it myself. I have them now, but it's out of my range. I'm not going to put the trade on just because I paid for the shorts. I liked it up around that 106 to 108 level, and obviously I'm not going to get it at that price right now.
No, yeah. So that's the other thing. You got to wait for these stocks to come in here. I was actually just looking at AMD, and I know that you're in Nvidia here. It's only 10:22, but watch this market, man. I mean, it just tried to go and then failed again. So I was close to pushing the button on AMD to hit this long through 147 back to go to the upside. And the thing is like, I don't know, man, not today. I don't think this is going to be a name today to go. And then obviously we've talked about Peloton. I just should have waited. I wanted to take, I mean, I'm still long, very, very small. Like it's like a crazy starter position at 40. So this is not good. It's obviously down like 17% since that 40 call. But that was just like, if you look at a daily chart, that wasn't even that long ago right now. And you can see like, just look at this. This is a 20-minute, sorry. Here's the daily chart for Peloton. Just absolutely no love whatsoever. So we're definitely not adding anything to this position. If anything, man, we're just gonna have to wait to see where it finally does bottom out and then make a call on their next earnings report. If they have something positive to say, great. I was thinking that, you know, we all we heard was nice positive notes from retailers and things like that, and we thought maybe Peloton could get going, but I know they're spending a hell of a lot of money right now on advertising, so that name does not look like it wants to work. So no problem on that. I mean, Ford is still rocking. I can't believe that name. Just wish we had obviously all the shares and or more of them as we go. Okay. A name, though, guys, that's holding up fantastically, Facebook. So what's up to all my Meta and Facebook lovers here, as that seems to be working out just swimmingly here, and just not making many moves today, but also not, you know, that, I mean, that's a nice move down, but you're still positive on the day here for Facebook. So looking to maybe take a break on this one through 340. If the market does bounce back, this could be the name that you want here on your board, and that's going to be Facebook coming through here. So let's look to see if this one could do any damage, breaking back above 340, but more work needs to be done on this, especially the market needs to get going here. So it could be AMD or Facebook or Nvidia here on a move back to the upside.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to want to double down on anything, but like the one long I have is Nvidia here with the market weakness. I'll just pick that one. That NLSP that everyone's sort of talking about, it came back below $2, and I was looking at where the levels were to the upside on the daily chart for where it might be a short. And I feel like I kind of missed out. I was only really thinking about like 260, 285, closer to the 200 period there. And that was probably a bit of a mistake because there was this support to resistance at 240. And that's where it looks like it's turning for now. And it's already put in a pullback. So this one might be, if it can't hold 180, this one might be done for the day running. Unfortunately, and I would have missed out on the chance. The one that could be going, or at least is trying to go again, is Hoth. So yes, I got out of half the position and then a little bit more when it got to 125. Still holding on to the short here at 49. I added 3 times, but essentially average price 49. I got 48s, 49s, and 50s on all 3 of those fills. So average price there was 49. If it comes back up and tests the range, I do not want to reload the short unless it tests that halt price. Like I would actually look for it to maybe even break 150 and then hold that 158 level, and then I would reload. Otherwise, I'll work with what I have here. No need to force that trade. Tesla is trying to recover, is trying to get back into the upside here. So if that goes, I kind of want to think about what the counter trend might be. Like some of the names that were, I guess, relatively strong as Tesla was going down might make some pullbacks. A lot of value names did really well today. One of them, and I'm kicking myself for this one, was General Electric. That actually set up really, really nicely, and I totally forgot about it this morning. Breaking. Oh goodness, what is that wick in the daily? Yeah, sort of breaking right out here on the daily chart at that 99 level. It was already breaking here in yesterday's action as a value name. So continuing that move, now trying to test $100. GE, of course, remember they did that reverse split. Brendo?
Not a name we see typically on volume scanners, guys, but Discovery just popping up here. Actually had a pretty good day, I noticed yesterday as well. Back to the upside here. So 5.5% again today for DISCA.
Chicken and sausage jambalaya today. So can't go wrong with that. That should be a good one today for lunch. And guys, again, thank you so much for all the love on this sticky note. I think this might be a record today. I mean, I think you're loving it because of Ford. 44 retweets, guys. If you can like this, retweet this. And again, if we could just put this like on our calendar to do this every single day, that'd be absolutely fantastic. You know, the more ideas that we have here, and then please share them, guys. Like, is Peloton a buy today? I should have responded to that an hour ago. No. Ford, easy money. Yeah, what's up, Peary? I'm going to go and respond to all of these. So if you guys want to hit me up, do that. I will respond to everybody there on social media and especially over there on Twitter if you do support that sticky note. Okay, Palantir. So here we go. Palantir with a beautiful move to the downside if you're short. But we like this name, so here we go. Now we're long at 11s. We'll see what this can do. It just fell off a cliff here, on this NASDAQ move. And again, we know that this is I think it's just an undervalued, possibly sitting here at these levels. We may look back and wonder why we didn't load up, but this is not the year for names that, like we talked about this, aren't profitable, that have outstanding PEs, outstanding to the upside, like almost like unrealistic PEs right now. And you could see names like GE, kind of the value plays back in focus today again. Yeah. Apple still positive today. Disney positive today. JP Morgan up 3%. Nucor up 1.5%. Caterpillar up 3.5%. Ford rocking. Bank of America up today. So a lot of these names right now are not loved, man. So you got to sit in, and shout out to someone that messaged me as well. It said Bank of America is a huge buy with a 45 bid to it. And yeah, you were not, I was going to say, you were not wrong. We have these wicks up here. Like, honestly,
all of the bank stocks.
Get these fixed. But there it goes, a nice little move, breaking through its 50-period moving average, which may not be accurate. But, anyways, 45. Here's the bid down here at 44.45 that BAC has. Now you're up to $48 today. I would not ring the registers on any of these banks. I think there's a lot of room to run on many of these. Morgan, and yet even just yesterday,
Nucor
guys.
Is probably breaking, because.
Which one?
Dan, I see you there because U.S. Steel just broke back above the 50 period as well, 24. So I always sort of go down the list. I'm like you guys, right? You go down the list on a day like today, and you're just like, okay, where is the value? I thought we'd have yesterday. I thought we'd have a few days as maybe the tech docs might run, and you'd have profit taking happen a bit later on, like after the Santa Claus rally and not the second day of the year. So I thought we'd have some days to maybe add to your value positions. Instead, looks like we're already starting to break out. I don't necessarily want to chase some of this. I'd rather play into weakness when I can. So I'm looking at healthcare being weak a second day in a row, and I think that's the first place there's a chance to dip because some good value names like UNH is down today, Danaher is down today. I might be looking to pick some of those up, but yeah, U.S. Steel trying to break out, guaranteed Nucor is running if I see that. NVIDIA is it's trying here. It's the only long I got on here as the market tries to bounce. Load. As the market tries to bounce, it's still in the pocket. It needs to break 296. I think once it does that, the ride to VWAP is about all I'm interested in here. Maybe a touch more than that, but let's go NVIDIA. Maybe there were better names to pick up at the bottom here, but that's the one that's set up because I was watching it all morning long. For Brendan?
Another one from Europe. We're going to check Europe here in a second. But Vodafone, guys, having quite the day. They were out with some pretty positive data consumption numbers and also wireless usage consumption numbers over the holidays. So VOD, ADR from over in Europe, having a nice day, up about 3% so far on. Pretty good volume, it's worth noting as well. Speaking of Europe, Miss V is watching what else is going on over there. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets hit record high today. Airlines and travel stocks are among top performers. Wizz Air trading in London is up around 12%, while TUI trading in Germany is up more than 8%. The poorest performing stock is Delivery Hero trading in Germany is down more than 3%. Back to you.
Yeah, we're chopping around North America, but overall pretty positive so far, guys.
So we'll do a few things here. We'll do a new position alert for right now. So we did get into Facebook there. Breaking, this is what we talked about, 339.75. So we want to, Neil talked about getting into some stronger names here if the market does rally. We'll see if Facebook goes. We get out of 20%, 20 or 25? 20. 20% there on the 340 breaks. We got out at 340.05. Watching this thing fade back in now. Obviously, we know that if the NASDAQ doesn't work, some of these names aren't going to work. So,
oh my goodness. Why didn't they just go short when Nvidia broke support? Like, it went instantly $1. Nvidia, not 30 cents, not 40 cents. Thankfully, thank you very much for the stop orders here at Day Trade the World, because this is my out. I got slipped 4 cents and the stock dropped right to 292. And 292.25. So it actually dropped $1.25. My slippage was 4 pennies. But this is what Nvidia is doing today. The first trade was a win, and after that, it's just been stop out in the second half, get back in, stop out accidentally, and then get back in, and then stop out for a loser. So can't find the long that works. The shorts are doing okay, but one to watch. And I talked about this one. If you're long the Hoth here and you bought it on the dip, you're probably pretty happy. Like I said, I'm not looking at this one again. I want to. If it breaks 150, I'm looking for that hull price at 158 before I would load back into it. I did only cover about 60%, so I actually still have some shares on, and I'm looking to see if it can continue the trend. When it does a couple of halts up and capitulates, I usually like the short side of the trade. But if it doesn't roll over pretty soon, I'll probably have to give that ghost up or at least get more aggressive bidding out of that name. So once again, I find myself only short as the market continues to find weakness, and that's the NASDAQ, by the way. We keep saying the market heading, finding weakness. The ES is up 0.3%, so should probably continue to say that. We've shown you a lot of stock. We've shown you a lot of names that are strong today on the charts, and a lot of those sort of cyclical names and better balance sheet, better cash flow. But at the end of the day, it is tech and it is NASDAQ that is to the downside. Even the chips going down. Although I can tell you, it's GFS. It did turn around. It's only down like 1%, like 0.8% right now. So I'm not. It's weird. Like, as everything was already falling, this was holding the top. Probably on that forward news, it could be time to start thinking about where you can get into this. If this drops a couple of days in a row here, at 62, 63 level could be it. I'm sort of looking back at the 15, but it tried to break out again because probably Ford. I'm assuming it was Ford's strength that carried it to the upside. But like everything else. Again, they're not, they've been profitable in the past. Like right now as a private company, now a public company, they probably have ways to go. Intel's probably a better value name, but I love their chances for growth here in the chip sector. So I think GFS, if it gets down to that 63, 64, could be a good level. I'm not sure it gets there today because it's shown some signs of strength, but it's now on the radar at higher prices than I was looking at it before. Nvidia now 290. Oh my! The
market is just cracking here like crazy.
Why did I just short it?
Yeah, we're almost going to get out of Neo here. So now we have. You can see the average price 32 flat, right? So this is fine. It's going to be a 50-cent hit. This is kind of the hit that is reasonable for us. I mean, yesterday we had a big win to the upside, and now you can see the average price is 32 flat. This was done on purpose, basically. So now we'll wait for 31.50 to break as the market today, no love. There's just no bounce back here. So we did take out there. We took, 40 cents on the first piece of Facebook and then just got dumped. Ooh, we got wicked out there for, I think, another 20% out or so on that move down there. But right now the market's starting to crack. So we did take, again, in a little bit, out 20%, out another 20% now. We'll see if it wants to sort of hold these bottoms. But again, if this market keeps falling, we're not just going to average into some of these positions for absolutely no reason. So let's let this kind of chill out a little bit more here. And hopefully we can start to bounce back up. And maybe that was the wick bottom there on Facebook. But again, with the market not cooperating, short has to be the way to go. I mean, you got out of your Nvidia and you saw the damage that would have been done to hold that. So we'll wait to see what happens now on all these names. Palantir, we did get, our average price was what, 10s, 11s? We took some out at 15s and 16s there when it bounced back up. I think that's sort of what we have to do. Unless you really think that the market's coming back here today, man, I would kind of like play some of these pops and get out of some of your longs, but try to hold some of the ones that you really have conviction on, which I do here with Ford. So I'm trying to hold this as long as we can. Brendan, give us some good news or something.
One of those days, guys, when we're getting, very odd names or names we're not used to seeing leading the market higher. I mentioned at 10 o'clock it was the Dow that was in charge so far today. Biggest gainer anyways, 3.9% Caterpillar here up 4% almost, just taking out day highs, 215 on volume as well.
Yeah, we just mentioned Caterpillar. We mentioned GE running to the upside, Nucor, some of the U.S. steels, some of the bigger industrial names as well starting to go up. GM, of course, going, and all the banks, man.
Yeah, they're looking super. Like
Apple's still positive, by the way.
Well, of course, which makes that actually makes sense, right? Like if you look at the FANG names, like what's
FYI.
what's the one that's that probably has the best sort of cash flow in terms of holding up in terms of inflation because of their products. And again, it's not a cloud-based or an advertising type play. Like you're getting into their ecosystem and you're selling things. People are buying things. Like one out of every, what's the number? 5.5 people? It's one of, something like that. It's like one out of every 5 or one out of every 5.5 people in the world is in the Apple ecosystem. Like whether you want to or not. Like my entire family, except for me, owns all Apple products, meaning their PCs, their phones, and all that goodness. But even I have Apple TV. Like you can't avoid it completely, right? So that's why it's relatively strong, sort of back and forth, holding positive territory here. If the market were to bounce, it might go a little bit contrarian for some profit taking. But I'm telling you right now, like, and the reason why I kind of reacted the way I did to Nvidia is it's not the type of stock when I see a level break like that I expect to see the bid just evaporate the way that it did, and to see it continue. Like when I'm saying to myself, why didn't I reverse off of that short side trade? It's hard to do it. Like if you like a company, it is hard to see it down that much and then short a bottom like that. It's a lot easier to go long off a top like that or short like some small cap stock, which is already down. You like just keep punishing it to the downside. Like, I don't know. I mean, I could say Robinhood, I could say any of these small caps, but it's hard to do on something like an Nvidia. But when the momentum is there, a lot of times it's worth it. I didn't take the trade. Now it's at 290, and again, I'm finding myself saying, where could the bottom be? And I look at the daily, no help there. You look at your 15, not a heck of a lot of help until you look at 285. And I don't even have that much conviction at 285. I'd much rather it hold up right here, right now at 290 and then consolidate there, and then you can start thinking about that long. Otherwise, I'm hanging on to the shorts that are working. There's not much else to do here because, oh, Tesla, that 3,000 print's still there. I mean, Tesla's starting to roll over as well. Fortunately, I was able to scalp that one in and out, which has been the case. If you didn't take profits on your longs quickly on the way up, with the exception of 4, which continue to run, everything else is sort of coming back into that downside. Tesla, 1150 could come into play. I think that's a level I would want to be looking at as well. And Rivian, that's just poor management by myself, not to shorted it at an obvious price level. It is also falling. The 100 level on Rivian looks pretty interesting to me, but that was a swing and a miss. Well, not a swing and a miss because I didn't have the locates. Kind of a swing and a miss. Hoth, which was of some concern, getting back into the upside, it broke 150. It didn't test that 158 halt price, or I likely would have added to the short. Instead, it went up 1 cent and came right back into that pocket. So not much to do except hold on to this trade until it sets up for an ad or breaks to 58 and I get out of it.
All right, yeah. So we've averaged into Facebook here. That just keeps on dropping down. The NASDAQ looks like it's going to give it up one more time. So a breakthrough of 337, basically the day's low here. We've already hit day's low. We went over to a name that was strong in the market, but as you can see, when the market doesn't rebound, it doesn't matter what name you're in. The only thing that's really holding up here appears to be Palantir. So we'll wait for a 337 break right now on FB. But I mean, a few more down ticks and this stock is gone. You can even see the spread here. When it opens up, you get like 20, 30 cents. So let's hope that we can just make a little bit of a move back up here in the NASDAQ and, hold on to some of these names as we go. NEO as well right now, almost out of this one as it just breaks below 50. So this name's going to be out in a second. This is going to be a loser for us today. Opposite of yesterday, as yesterday we tried to pick some bottoms. Today, does not work out, and we should have been a little more patient with it. But here's the levels that we're worried about, 31.50 on the 20-minute chart. Look, we're breaking it right now, so a little bit more to the downside, and then we're out, just a couple more pennies. So NEO right now does not work. We're going to hold out hope that Facebook somehow does, but they're all crashing down to the downside right now. Despite that board, Brendan, I guess everything non-tech related is making the moves.
It's healthcare and tech.
Yeah, kind of deceiving. It looks very positive here, but only 0.2 right now for the S&P. This is the tech group right here. So yeah, among the leaders to the downside, some of the hardware equipment makers. We mentioned HPE and HPQ, both trying to help offset, but 3.5–4%, we'll call it, not enough to offset some of the software makers. All of the semiconductors over here solidly lower, 2.5% to 3% as well. To the downside, as are the healthcare group, the entire thing, pharmaceuticals, healthcare equipment makers as well, all pretty much in negative territory here. So these two groups kind of offsetting the rest of the market here, including far corner over there. You can see both the energy and material sectors very, very strong so far today. Energy stocks specifically, Oxy up 8% now. Halliburton up 7.25%. HES, SLB, MRO about 4 to 5%. So energy stocks apparently were to be today, as are the banks, nicely higher. 2 days, 3 days in a row, we'll call it. Banks, individual banks, the diversified names down here also in positive territory. Insurance companies as well. Industrial stocks, 2 or 3 days in a row. There's GE on the upgrade, 3%. All the airlines are here, 2% to the upside as well, right across the board for travel stocks helping out. But as we said, only 0.18 there for the market, guys. Back over to you.
Yeah, like we can't say it enough. This is why we do sector watch. This is why when the market's moving a heck of a lot, we try to pull it back. I know we're trading individual names and start to think about, okay, what's really happening in the broad market, and if it matters to your long-term portfolio, like what are you doing? And people talk about diversification and why it matters, and this is the case. I just went to double check Morgan because this is the one I'm in, and it's breaking out that 100. It still has a chance to break that 106. I'm kind of kicking because there's a lot of things I was looking at for this week, and Morgan was the only one yesterday that I picked up anything on after the show because it was at that 100 level and just holding up there. And I'm kicking myself over some of the other values, but healthcare, for healthcare to be down, I think a lot of it has to do with the strong run it made. I wanted to show you the chart of Danaher on the daily to show you how strong it had been in 2021. Just sort of take my word for it. Take my word for it, but these wicks are pretty ugly. But this is a name which, here we go, down now almost $30 in 2 days on the healthcare sector, getting right close to that 305. I like it personally close to the 200 period, which could come into play. The one short that's not working for me that I got to point out is actually Foot Locker, believe it or not. So it broke into me, and I got that 43 break, and it's now essentially doing nothing, going back and forth, in the money 15 cents, out of the money 15 cents. That's not going to cut it. There's no momentum on it, unfortunately, for me here. And with the market weak in the tech sector, I kind of feel like it's just going to be getting ignored. And if this doesn't make a move in the next hour or two, I might have to change my approach here. For now, I'll keep the structure of it, so where I'm looking at that 43, well, I'm sort of looking at that 43 breakdown, giving it to that 43.50 high, and then looking for targets down around 41.50 and 42. I'm not sure it has the legs on it because it's not really going anywhere today. If it's just going to barcode, of course, that's not going to do anything for me here. But Foot Locker, it is a position I'm in, so I have to watch it. But if it doesn't start moving in the next 30 or 40 minutes, I'm not sure what the point of being in Foot Locker is.
I mean, all the shorts coming in, again, obviously.
Except
yeah, that's strange. I was going to say, some of the shorts come. I guess you got to be on the right stock to get it today. And obviously, there goes Neo. Whoops, there goes Neo right to the downside one more time, breaking down below 31 and change today. So down 6%, giving everything back yesterday. We tried it one more time and it does not work. So right now, all the longs getting killed as the market just continues to make a downward move. Oil up. We've talked about all this. XOM up 3.5% today and rocking. So wow, what a big move up here today for some of these names, and the tech getting hit. So it might be time to sort of look at your portfolio and find some value here if you're not in them. I mean, Tesla down to $11.64 again. Like Tesla, guys, I mean, yesterday it moved $143 to the upside. Today, let's see, we're already down 50 here from its high. So yeah, wow, stock's getting clubbed around and about right now, Brendan.
All right, guys, thank you. We'll take a pause. We'll talk to our friend Justin back again, Day Trade the World marketing guy at TraderTV. Justin on Twitter. Check him out, talking about all of the hot topics on Twitter on a daily basis. Everyone's heard of this Theranos story by now. Everyone, should be aware of what happened going back a few years. But it's amazing. I was thinking last night when I saw this headline pop up, Justin, how long it's taken to get to this point. And I speak of the verdict that we finally get in this trial last night.
Yeah, this was one of those stories that seemed to just kind of drag on and drag on and drag on. And for a while there, I thought, oh man, don't know if this is really going to happen. But it finally showed up. Elizabeth Holmes found guilty on 4 charges, one charge of conspiracy and one count of conspiracy and 3 counts of wire fraud, which is going to isn't going to look well. It looks like she's facing 20 years for every one of those for each guilty charge. So obviously won't be going to jail for that long. Certainly appeal is going to be the big thing, but it's really quite. What a fall from grace. I mean, she and her company, Theranos, were quite literally the darlings of biotech in Silicon Valley. And after the 2015 reporting in the Wall Street Journal, everything just went pear-shaped, and a lot of really disquieting allegations started to come out, and employees started to talk more publicly about the failure of their product and how they just couldn't make it, and the end result to that is the verdicts that we saw yesterday. So it will be interesting to see what kind of sentencing she gets on appeal. Certainly, this story is not over. Appeal is probably going to take just as long as the trial will. So should be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah, a lot of people are going to have opinions on this, obviously, as far as what the end result is. Ideas or opinions aside here, the fact that they went to trial and used a defense of she was being pressured by outside sources and pressured by people around her to make these decisions, I thought was just mind-boggling. But I can't wait for the movie, because for sure there will be another. I mean, there's already a couple on this on the documentary side, but just an amazing timeline, I guess, when you think about it.
Yeah, it's I think this is also kind of the danger that comes with it too. She started this company as a teenager, and she had a relationship with, I guess, one of her co-founders. And from what she alleges, that relationship wasn't exactly it wasn't all. I guess it wasn't all roses really with them. So again, these are all allegations. Don't know if this is true or not. Obviously, he's denying it. So just a really sad story all around from a woman who seemed to who was very convincing, and I think was very convinced of her company's ability to create this world-changing product. And it's really quite a shame that it ended the way that it did.
Yeah, and as expected, the right decision or correct, depending on how you think about it, was made. So more to come, as you said, as far as the appeals. This will be tied up in courts, I'm sure, for many more years to come. Let's go to Ford. On a lighter note, Ford making moves again today, trying to double the manufacturing capacity of this Ford F-150 Lightning. I mean, 39,000 MSRP on this thing is amazing to me.
Yeah, I mean, for an electric vehicle truck, $39K plus delivery is not a bad price. So might even get one of those myself, being a pickup truck guy. So, Ford starting off the year much the way they ended the last one, making some big announcements and some big investments into electric vehicles, and certainly getting very charged up over their ability to double production to 150,000 vehicles a year, and opening some new plants and making some massive investments in EV. They're looking to spend, I have some notes here, $30 billion in electric vehicles through 2025, and making just north of $11 billion investment to build 3 new battery plants with SK Innovation. So one of them in Tennessee and 2 in Kentucky. So definitely getting charged up. Lots of positives, no negatives, and definitely trying to get a storm going in the electric vehicle market.
Yeah, the battery number I thought was pretty impressive as well, going to 600,000 on the battery manufacturing capacity as well on a yearly basis. I mean, it's not quite to the million cars that we saw delivered from Tesla, but getting into that kind of a ballpark. So good for Ford and benefiting today, as we've seen. A huge move for the stock. Talk to me about Twitter here, because these are a couple of deals, the Mopub one and the AppLovin one, that we were talking about at the end of last year, finally getting done.
Yeah, didn't think that deal was ever going to happen, but they finally made it work. And starting off 2022 with a $1.05 billion injection in the company, looking to certainly get out of that market, which makes sense for them from a strategic perspective. The latest iOS release and some of the concerns that privacy experts have about tracking and so on. Good time for Twitter to get out, take some of that cash, and invest that into some of certainly the ramped up product development that we've seen since the new boss took over for the old boss, the Twitter CEO, making some big moves in the first few weeks of his new tenure. And now we're going to see what happens with it now. So good to see that they're making some investments, getting rid of some business units that just aren't maybe not profitable, but certainly are refocusing their efforts into areas of the business where they want to monetize, which is, I think, what they should have been doing for some time now.
Yeah, constructive moves after the changes we saw at the end of last year for Twitter. Should be interesting to see how that pans out. Justin Kozach, Day Trade, the World Marketing Guy. A pleasure as always. Check him out on Twitter at TraderTV. Justin, we'll speak again soon. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Brendan.
Hot topics for today, guys.
Yeah, certainly. We were joking about this at Halloween that Ms. V could have dressed up as Elizabeth Holmes from Theranos there, and I kind of that's a horrible. You know what? I'm not even gonna go. I'm gonna go there.
What?
If she did it this year, she could do the. I mean, anybody could do the jumpsuit, like the prison jumpsuit.
Yeah. That's
Maybe I shouldn't have gone there.
Why not? That's not horrible.
I don't know, man. She's the mother. I can't be happy with it because the way anytime I see her,
yeah, but I mean, investors lost money in it.
She deserves everything she's gonna get, but her kid doesn't. That's the way I always sort of look at it. So I kind of mixed feelings about it. I talked to you guys about what I was thinking for Hoth here, and it broke that 150 again. So it finally made that other break of 150. Got up, tried to get to that 58, stalled at 55, below that halt price, couldn't make the run higher, and then I jumped back into the short. So I got 52s on the way back down. And like I said, if it showed that kind of strength, a little bit more aggressive getting out in front of VWAP instead of holding for the low. So a little bit more aggressive getting out in the first 10 cents here and covering it mostly in front of VWAP. So again, I have 60% out, but this time, not 60% out at 125, but in front of VWAP. So it's still relatively strong. I will now not average into it whatsoever. If it takes out the 158, I am gonzo with this stock, and the bulls might have got themselves a winner here. For now, the short has worked out. Still no bottom to really be found on NVIDIA. It's still, I mean, it made a 288 low. It's trying to hold that 290. The market is trying to check up here. Tesla bottomed at 1161, 1162 it looks like. But still, that tech weakness is sort of still in place. I'm holding on to this GMPX. Just going to go over some of the things before we transition you guys to the midday movers. And wow, there are a lot of things moving here today. So I kind of feel like Trader Brad and MSV will have plenty to talk about. That GMPX, I'm still holding on to it. I am going to get on the bid to cover it all in front of 250 at some point. I think that could go relatively soon, but I kind of want to give it some, just in case it flushes at that price, big candle down, I'll give it some more room to try to run. Reliance made another press to the upside again today, super strong in yesterday's action. It was a pretty decent short trade to have had if you got it off of that lower high. Again, failed breakout at the top, consolidate lower, and then flushed. So look at that level where it consolidated right around 9 to 925. I think that could be your top today. The volume's not nearly as big as the run it made in yesterday's action, or let alone what it did, I guess, on Thursday of last week.
Yeah, we made some decent money back here on Palantir just because it came back up, and then we were able to empty out a little bit here at 811, or 812, whatever it was. We want to hold this. It made that bottom at 1795, very close to taking us out right now. So if it does break that bottom, I think we got to get out of here on PLTR. So we'll wait to see if that does happen. Stock's falling down. We're holding a small piece of Facebook just to try to see, where does this thing want to go? It's breaking back. It sucks because this is not going to work too great on the chart here, but you do have some support, I was thinking, around this 334, 335, which is right where we're at right now. So if we just zoom it back in here, it's just kind of this. I mean, right now you're just pulling at straws, whether or not you think this is going to work or not. But down here, 334, 335, maybe, but you've seen it's given everything back today that it managed to get over in the last week or so. So Facebook, although again another name that I really like for the long term, just today we're still saying we've already gotten out. I mean, look, it's been horrible. I can show you the trading today on Facebook. Whoa, where's my 1 minute chart? Oh no, did it close? Here it is. Okay, you can see right here on Facebook. We tried first trade. Yeah, good man. We thought like, yeah, we're back in, and then we got out, averaged in, back out right here. So really, this is the hit right here, about $1 or so on the downside, averaging in about $1.50 or so, and now you're just like losing everything on Facebook. So watch out here as this comes down. Again, really no levels to defend. We are holding on to this piece, but it's not a big piece. So those of you that see some of that on, still a bad trade. The 50-period moving average on my chart anyways, which I don't think is going to be right, is 332.70. So maybe you get some pull in there. But right now, man, everything falling down. And if you're long, you're not right today, that's for sure, unless you're in some of those industrials. So I think we need like earnings season to come through a little bit here. And again, today is the second day of trading in the year. This is when Santa Claus rally, I guess, officially stops. So, no surprise this is happening today, although you can't believe everything in Santa Claus rally. I think if you take the last 7 days, which it's supposed to be, the market is still up and probably up more than that 1.4%. So it definitely came through, but today a big sell day, and I think it's worth rebalancing some of the portfolios and looking for something to pick up here that's been over-exaggerated, like an NVIDIA to the downside, like a Facebook right here, I believe. Apple just turns red as well, so I don't know, man. I mean, I'm already in GM and 4. I'm already in a lot of these quality names. DraftKings down to 26 today as my eyes go up. NVIDIA 287 right now. So, yeah, wow, getting out of some of those longs were definitely the right play, as crypto even falling down today, too. All right, yeah, Berkshire ripping. Yeah, no surprise there. Probably IBM probably going up. I was just saying, I don't know, just trying to pick some names that aren't like new tech, more old tech today. Yeah, look at that. IBM up 2.5% today. So there you go. Look at that. Look at this for IBM. Wow.
I was asking to short that yesterday.
I remember that. That's what came up to my mind. I was like, no, you don't want to do that. Maybe even Qualcomm probably up as well. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. Thank you so much for all the likes and for all the support. And if you didn't like this video yet, it's a great chance to give us your like. Join Prad and me to continue trading this exciting day. And happy National Spaghetti Day. Wow, I love spaghettis.
Oh, no. All right, yeah, I mean, I'm down with that, obviously, as we have
some leftover spaghetti and scallops because my wife does a really good. Oh my goodness,
spaghetti's pretty good to reheat. That's for sure, especially if you got those meatballs or some sort of a meat aspect.
I don't know if your daughter does this, but like my daughter, she's all about spaghetti plain with just ketchup on it.
Ketchup, no.
My kids don't
really like ketchup.
Like I'm not a huge ketchup guy myself, but I'm like
they like it just butter and Parmesan.
I don't get it. Like I don't understand it at all. But like ketchup. Apparently she loves it. Like I mean like loves it.
Yeah,
like, she won't even touch. And she used to love like traditional spaghetti and meatballs, and now she's like I don't want it. Just give me the ketchup on it.
I can't even really think about ketchup on spaghetti, to be honest with you. But hey, kids are funny. And if as long as they're eating, that's what's important there.
True that.
So yeah, eat up your ketchup on spaghetti.
Or don't.
I would. To me, that sounds gross. But hey, I mean, some of the things that kids eat are pretty crazy to go with. So okay, Brennan, you ever had spaghetti on ketchup or ketchup on spaghetti?
Definitely not. Although I grew up with a childhood friend who used to put mustard on Kraft dinner, which is an interesting look as well.
That's crossing the line.
I actually don't mind that as bad as the other one. But
mustard on Kraft dinner?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're not loading it on, I don't know. I don't know, what's worse, guy? Ketchup on spaghetti or mustard on Kraft dinner? I think it's pretty...
I mean, at least ketchup is like, that's okay, because obviously like a tomato-based sauce, like it kind of makes some sense. Mustard on
Yeah,
KD,
you're kind of going rogue on that one.
First of all, don't like eat real macaroni and cheese, don't eat KD. That's what I would say there. That's your first mistake, because you want the good stuff. You guys know what I'm talking about when you're talking about mac and cheese.
People are saying that's considered child abuse. I'm not saying it is, but,
Cold.
Yeah,
okay, well, unlock me.
Cold as ice.
She loves it, so we spoil it.
Yeah, she ain't going to complain, that's for sure.
Whatever. Kids are going to eat what they're going to eat, and they're resilient, so they'll do what they do. It's already 11 o'clock. I almost said 12 o'clock for some reason. Market is moving. The NASDAQ now crossing the 1.5% down mark. Watch it, that RELI up to that 850 level, starting to push a little bit as well. So we have to throw you because, hey, we're going to be here all day and we're going to be back at 2 o'clock. We got to throw you to Market Movers because Trader Pratt and Ms. V are going to have a lot to talk about. Let's go.
Welcome to Market Movers. I'm your host, Trader Pratt. This is the beautiful Miss V.
Hey guys, welcome back everyone. I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for joining us. As usual, please be active on the chat, ask us anything. And of course, don't forget to give us your like. How's your day going, Prad?
Pretty good so far, but I'm watching the market crumble right now and trying to
Yes,
see what I
sir.
can do. How about yourself?
I'm actually a little bit glad because it was negative day for me. Now turning to flat. Maybe I will be able to make it